Brothers and sisters, may the peace that can only come from the one God be upon you. We are here to tell the people that we hear you. One God will not allow us as people of conscience to lose our morale.
Powered by our patrons.
You call that radio?
You call that radio?
What about the people who hated on me?
Right, and then I see the disinfectant that knocks it out in a minute.
That's mad, isn't it?
Is this a Netflix thing?
It's actually a podcast.
What the fuck's a podcast?
You know, it's kind of like a radio show.
Oh, that! Radio!
Yeah.
And is there a way we can do something like that?
I couldn't help it.
By injection inside or
Yeah, I think so, because I think just paint in general, because I think like my poem is in my painting.
No, cut. Good afternoon, troubadours. Welcome to You Call That Radio. Tonight we've got Dee Maxwell in the house, Scottish comedian. Hit the share button. Let us know in the comments if you can hear us all right. We should go on the facebook.com/You Call That Radio. But if you're watching it on that, you might as well go to YouTube. Sounds a wee bit better, looks a wee bit better there. And we're also on the Twitch as well. The show is powered by our patrons. Thanks to everyone for supporting the show at patreon.com/You Call That Radio. Let's just go to Dee. Dee, can you hear me?
Yes, how are you?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for doing the show tonight. How have you been? How's things?
Well, things were okay. We're absolutely fine up until I woke up this morning. Apparently, I'm no longer Taurus, I'm Aries, and that's really fucked me off. So that's
really happened to me as well. I've just changed as well. All the star signs. For people that don't realise, it's that some smart bastard basically has done some scientific equations and found that everything's off by about a week, which means a lot of our star signs have changed. So what star sign have you just changed from to?
Well, I'm not changing because I'm going down the whole route of I still identify as Taurus. So I'm still Taurus and that's it. I'll identify as Taurus until I die. I've been 39 years. I've been stubborn. I've been determined. I've been loving and caring and grounded, and I'm not being an Aries for no bastard.
Well, I've just been switched from a Leo to a Cancer. And after reading it, like, I've identified as a Leo for a while, and people say to me, "Oh no, you're definitely a Leo." And I know that the star signs they're deliberately quite vague so that you can fit in anywhere. But I don't know if it does fit me, because you obviously maybe you're kind of following. And is it because you're following what you're supposed to be? Do you think there's any element of that, or do you think?
Do you know what it is? I think it's a bit like thinking you weren't adopted and then finding out that you're adopted. That's what it feels like. It feels like all this identity and me going, I feel my inner bull. I'm definitely a bull. I just don't see myself as an Aries. I don't see myself as a ram. Is that what it is? A ram or a sheep or something? I'm not from Aberdeen. I don't like sheep.
Do you think that this scientist just came up with the new sums? So maybe all the people who are born up until now get to keep their old star signs.
Well, I'm not saying what they say. Apparently it's freedom of fucking speech. And if I need to wear a mask in a shop, I'm going to be a Taurus, and that's it.
I think Billy Connolly did a line about that. He says that in Scotland you can change your star sign by depot.
Can you? Well, tell Billy I'm not doing it. I'm not changing it. I don't want to change it. Nobody ever... See, this is the thing. Everybody's saying this whole acceptance thing. So it's like, we're sitting there. I mean, I was fine. See, when they seen my sister was having a panic attack and telling me China was coming for us, I was like, aye, right, what's on the telly tonight? And then things like, what was the other thing? Like, you need to wear a mask in the shop. I've got breathing problems. Don't go to the shop. I'm like, just calm down. And then I woke up to them telling me my star sign, and I was like, right, that's fucking it. I fucking China can come and get us. Wear masks and shop. You can even bang through Aldi's bags if you like, but you'll not take my star sign. So just not doing it.
What about the masking? Like Donald Trump's wearing a mask. I think last night for the first time he wore a mask, and all Donald Trump supporters were like, are all quite anti-mask, and they're saying, I was like, how is he going to? But they love Donald Trump, everything he does, but they said that his mask looks great, and he's actually playing 4D chess because he's the smartest man in the world. It's a double bluff. And they can't explain why he's wearing a mask, but just trust the plan because he's a smart man.
That's all the face I can give for that. He's a smart man. He's a fucking moron. The guy's a fucking moron. He's got people. I've actually got people on my Facebook now that are speaking to American radicalists. It's like they're actually being groomed for being Trump terrorists, and I'm not even trying to be funny about it. And they're putting up things like pictures of wee babies' faces saying it's satanic rituals. That's what Trump's saving us from, satanic rituals. Apparently, we're eating babies that go missing, and McDonald's is their biggest outlet. I can't go.
And apparently, it's like it's something to do with like Wayfair or something. It's a company where you buy a chest of drawers for 15 grand, and then there's a child in it. But what happens if you're just a rich guy that wants a 15 grand cabinet, and then what happens then?
What do you do with the fucking child? I would just go, listen, some cunts left their Wayne here. I don't know whose it is. But I ordered fucking Chester drawers because my Waynes had moved out. If I was ordering that level of 15 grand or whatever Chester drawers, there's absolutely no way I want a fucking child in that house. I've ordered that level of Chester drawers because my kids have now fucked off to fuck up their own life in their own house with shit furniture that they go through every month. So, we've got a 15 grand chest of drawers. The last thing you need is a kid. They'll ruin it. Exactly. What if it's already shit in it because it's not been in there for a while? What if there's excrement all over my new Chester drawers? I'm not cleaning that. If I wanted to clean shit, I'd have went and bought my Chester drawers for the fucking charity shop.
So what about the mask thing? Are you? I wore a mask for the first time today because I had to. Well, obviously I've worn a mask before, like Halloween and that, but just wearing a mask in the shop, it was all right. I mean, I just put it on and it was fine.
I'm just glad that I can't find magic mushrooms anywhere, because I think about the time when I used to take magic mushrooms for a wee trip, and I just remember walking down the street about maybe 2 weeks ago, because I did hit a heavy panic attack, stayed in the hood, didn't speak to anybody, thought the world was ending, and decorated 3 rooms in my house. You know what I mean? So I did all that first, and then I was getting out and I couldn't help myself, and I know I shouldn't, but folk were just walking about, and some were walking about with, you know how people get those wee, those wee carts that they get, the wheelchairs on wheels. You know what I mean? It's like a Zimmer frame on a wee, I can't even get the name of it. You know, it's like a wee bike that the disabled bike that the old folk eventually get, but they pimp it out and they put like big mirrors on it and make it look like Harley Davidson. And I'm like, that just looks ridiculous. Stop it. You know what I mean? So that's what I feel with the mask. I went to shops and I was like, and then I feel that in her Ned, I have to wear a mask. Who says? My mama never told me I was to fucking wear it. Well, I don't identify as Scottish, I identify as British, and if Boris says I've not to wear one, I don't need to. You know what I mean? Like, so I get that wee bit of, because I was never good at doing what I was told at school either, that, but like teachers would sit down, I'd be like, fuck off, I'd sit up for 40 minutes whether my calves were saying or no, just to no sit down, because he's told me to sit down. So I've been told that I had to wear a mask was the problem. It wasn't about, do I believe there's a pandemic? Do I believe China's coming for us? Do I believe the royal family's aliens? Is there a satanic ring in the world? Don't know, don't care. What difference is it going to make to me if I find out? I'm no fucking going to make a difference shouting about it, apart from maybe getting shot by MI 15 or 5 or 16 or whoever they are, the Secret Service. So and an answer to your question is, I am compliant. Do I think it makes a difference? Do I fuck?
There's no harm in just wearing the mask anyway, just in case.
Aye. Do it anyway, because there's people. I went to Primark, for instance, not camped out to Primark. I waited a week or so to go in and get my see-through leggings and stuff like that. But I did wait a wee while, and the girl at the till, she was making such a big deal that I wanted to wrap my mask around her neck. Like, so I had the mask on, and she's like, I just love it. I just love all this compliance and everything, just trying to save the world. I was like, fucking scan my brand, fuck up, arsehole. You know what I mean? I went and I went into that Ned mode, didn't I? I went, no, I'm just feeling like half the hen. I can't be fucking fined by the police. Know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
I go back to the magic mushies. Ayrshire used to be good for magic mushies, but
Oh,
it's all
brilliant.
sprayed. It's all sprayed now.
I know, wankers. But that's what it is. We know what it's like. We've all got high court grasses and grasses. I know where the magic mushrooms are. I'll tell you. Why are you telling them? Why are you telling them where the stash is? You know what I mean? It's like it's the guy that like, used to grow grass plants and he would put sunshades on and show the full town how much money he was going to make and how much he was going to hang, mate. And then he wondered why he get busted. That's why, mate. You grass to selling. You know what I mean? And it's the same with the magic mushies. The golf course in Kilbirnie, I can grass it in now because they sprayed it. But that was a mecca for mushrooms. I remember going up there with my pal and Mark Burns and all these Ronnie and all these different guys and my other pals, and it was a night of it was like a circus. It was like an open show, live show, but nobody was actually acting because they were all at their tits in their own different cartoon, and it was hilarious. It was the best night of my life, but they fucked that for us as well, so we can't even put our boys for it now.
I was a wee guy. I went to Kilbirnie a couple of times trying to get a lumber, and also got chased out of Kilbirnie as well, because that's just what happens if you're no fae Kilbirnie. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people don't realise that. See when you go to, I've lived in lots of schemes in Glasgow as well, and people don't seem to realise how crazy the villages of Ayrshire can actually be, because a lot of kids complain that there's nothing to do in Glasgow, but there's actually quite a lot to do in Glasgow. You've got things. Ayrshire's not really got much apart from, you know, joyriding and gang fights.
Joyriding, underage sex, sleeping with your cousin, fucking fighting with your pal, and if you're really lucky, you can learn how to drug deal at a young age. You never know, you might have a 4x4 by the time you're 18.
Or get the jail.
Aye.
It's a 50-50. There's really nothing else today, so you might as
Part
well.
of your apprenticeship's going to the jail for the bigger guy with the chihuahua. You know what I mean? That's part of your apprenticeship. Don't ever fear a drug dealer with a Rottweiler. He's at the bottom of the chain, but if he's got a chihuahua, he's up there. You know what I mean?
So what brought, right, so let's go back a bit, because obviously right now, if anyone who doesn't know, you've got what 70,000 followers on Facebook, something like that?
I think it's 76,000 or 77,000 on Facebook now. I'm not sure on YouTube. I've never really looked up at that. Instagram, 11,000.
Wow.
YouTube is building, you know, because all the shows get streamed to that, the shows that I do in my own channel. I call it a channel now because I feel like Eddie Murphy. I'm playing that many different parts. One minute I'm a holistic Dee, the next minute I'm Dee that's talking about shagging, and then the next minute I'm like talking about world rights and trying to save the world. It's madness. But that's mostly, it's got a massive following. My biggest is online because that's where I started. I started online.
Because it's like right now, because you've been really, you were busy before lockdown, but since lockdown, you've kind of got, so what is it? You've got a late night show, and then you've got the posh that does do posh thing.
Aye, with Keris Nelms on a Monday. I've got the lockdown with Ronnie. I'm part of it. Tomorrow night I'm in a show, it's like Pictionary type thing, draw the line with a couple of the guys that streamed on my page. I'm also in What Gets Your Goat on a Thursday night, and that's with Danny Postle. He's an impressionist and comedian down south, and Keris is on that as well, and Esther's on that as well, another comedian who's fabulous as well. So it's like we just talk about things that annoy us. It's great.
So how many kind of like live streams are you doing a week just now then?
Of my own, I'm doing 4 or 5, and if I include the shows that I do with other guys, I'm 7, 8 a week.
Wow.
So
that's hardcore.
But I was going for that because I did on average I could be doing between 4 and 7 independent shows on my own every week. That's what stage I was at. I was up there. My theatre tour was booked. You know, I was going to the next stage. So I actually don't feel busy, although I am busy, if that makes sense, because of how much gigs I used to do.
So so how many gigs were you doing?
On average, 45 a week. 45 a week, 3 of them being usually pub gigs or a corporate gig where they've hired you, or a charity gig, and then the other ones would be like my big shows, a big show, because I would be between, saying big show, I mean by 200 to 400 people would be like, and then at least twice a month towards the end it would be a show of between 500 to 1,000 people. So I had to have 2 of them a month, as well as doing all my online rants and my online stuff. And I've always done corporate gigs because I export some of my stuff to Texas. But there you go.
So what
So-
was it? What was the first gig like? The first. So were you doing the sort of online stuff first of all?
Yeah,
So
what happened was I'd went and done my acting degree, and I went and done my acting degree at West College, Scotland. And I was there, and it was actually just started doing rants. I've always been funny, right? I'm raging, one of these people that's sitting there. I remember even when I was younger, my mum's friend used to sit in after school just to see me coming in from school because I'd be fucking raging. But with the way I would explain it to her and the way I'd talk about it, she'd be falling about the floor laughing just in the way I put it. So it was something that's, I hate to say this, is very effortless to me. I can just think of something like this morning. One of the guys that I follow online as well, he's a makeup artist, Lewis. He'd been wrote up how he was raging about the star sign, and I just looked at the list and I just felt the rage. But I thought, I'm actually super fucking raging about this. And I'm not raging about the thought that China's a conspiracy, the Queen's an alien, and I'm just sitting there going whatever and getting over my head. But as soon as they try to change my star sign, I was going fucking mental. So I just get those moments and I take it to the darkest and the shocking thing. Because when I was younger as well, I used to revel on people like, oh my God, did she say that? Is that what she said? And I think my comedy is very much, it's so shocking that if you don't laugh, you hate it. There's only 2 ways it can go. You know what I mean? So it is very much that. And I went to do a 5-minute spot at the Yes Bar, which is no longer there. And that's where I met Gary Falls. That's the first time I'd met Gary Falls. And he was lovely to me. And I run over my time. The guy that was running it bashing me. And I couldn't even remember but my nerves. But the whole room was laughing. I dealt with the first time somebody being very drunk and just talking over me, who happened to be someone that had followed me online to come and see me. So it had to be my fan that was making an arse of herself. And because I did it online, I didn't get really a good reception from the various like kind of influential bits of the circuit. So they kind of said basically, some of them, fuck off, we don't want you here. And I just went, well, fuck off, I'm for Kilbirnie and I'm fucking going to gate crash your fucking circuit, make it bigger and build a house bigger than yours, so fuck you. And that's what happened.
Well, the thing is, you're actually reaching people beyond the comedy scene, which is why you're so big, because it's you're probably bringing out people to a comedy show who are literally going to a comedy show for the first ever time. Yeah, loads of people that came to because I'm very much, and I hate to say this, I don't like comedy. And I know that sounds stupid. The idea of going to a stand-up comedy night, now this is terrible because I do it. The idea of me going to a stand-up comedy night to unknown entities and standing there and spending a ticket and hoping that's the night that you get people that are funny. I don't find a lot of people funny. You know what I mean? They've really got to have something. Kevin Bridges, fucking hilarious. Leo Kerrs, fucking hilarious. Billy Connolly, fucking hilarious. Back in the day, Jim Davison, hilarious. Other than that, Lee Evans, I'm not a huge fan of stand-up. Very much not a fan of stand-up where we're having to really, and I don't mean you should say anything offensive, but I mean, you can only joke about a fat person if you're fat, you know what I mean? That's why I'm really worried about losing this next 2 stone, because that's me going to lose all my fucking fat jokes, because I'm not fat anymore, so I can't slag fat people because I'm not one of them anymore. So that's where I enjoy comedy that's out there, like Billy Connolly, he just says as is, like I do. But I'm not a fan of, I've never been a fan of stand-up. When I was younger, if somebody said, let's go to a comedy night, I'd be like, fuck, right off, let's go to the tunnel. You know what I mean? So it's quite weird how it's happened, but I think it was just a bit of the scheme child where somebody said, she's not staying here and nobody wants her here, and I went, well, fuck you, I'm staying here, and before you know it, I'll be fucking running my own show, which I did. And you mentioned Gary Falls there. He was kind enough to come on the show right at the very start of lockdown as well. And I mean, he's another example of somebody that's kind of out with the scene, but just he's created something huge. Yeah, we very much met when spoke in a car park, and he said, you know, he did go online before me, which a lot of people didn't know. He was online and kind of advised, looking old school, listen, don't put your stuff on there, it won't do anything for you, blah, blah, blah. And fair enough, they probably what they thought were saying was true, because I think you're giving it all out there and free, nobody's going to come to a stage. But actually, it's got so much magnetism. And if you do your online stuff completely different to your stage show,
which is a really hard dynamic to have. But if you do that, then it brings them in droves. People have watched me online and then came to my stage shows and said, oh my God, you're even funnier online. You're even funnier on stage, which doesn't happen with a lot of people that are putting videos out, because some people are putting their best stuff out, or they're putting their actual sketches out. Me, I just think of something, and that's doing my nut in, and I just let it rant and rave and me. And I said to Gary, we were in a car park one night, we'd done a charity gig, and I'm like, mate, get back online. It's the power. Jesus Christ. Done my first, I'd only been on the scene 3 months, done my online stuff. And they'd said, oh, she thinks she has something, she'll fade as quick as she is. There was other comedians saying stuff, but they were going to come through my house with an Asda truck and kill my wains and do a thing for society, because they just weren't used to my way, and I think they feared it a bit, but at the same time, I'm not the person to be told what to do. So I'd said to Gary, get back online, keep your videos short and sharp, make them current, make them topical, and boom. And he'd have got where he was anyway. But then he did that, and that's what he got. He realised that he could stand alone, and he did it, and he stand alone, and now he's been who he should have been probably 4 years before he actually was.
Well, I think the good thing about putting your stuff online like that, what you're talking about, is that you're getting to try these jokes out. Because if you're just doing something that's coming into your head, you've woke up in the morning, you've got something in your head, and I always think that's quite a good creative time, because you're kind of half dreaming, half sleeping, and you have an idea. So, but rather than it just fritters away and then it becomes nothing. Yeah. You're just going up, you're doing something, and you've all got a fan base anyway. They're going to like it anyway, even if it's not your best. But you'll be able to go, oh, that actually was just flowing really nicely. I just need to tighten that up a bit, edit it down, and then you can actually make it a more concise thing for the stage.
So like the star sign thing this morning, that just rolled, and I was even watching it back. I know when it's funny when I watch it back and laugh at myself, which isn't very often. Sometimes I watch it back and I go, oh shit, man, just delete that one, don't keep it. But it is actually but being your 5 minute and 10 minute spot, being your own 5 minute and 10 minute spot, because there's nobody more brutal than people online. To say that it's a fake audience, how can it be fake? Because there's people that would sit in a crowd that would feel pissed off but say nothing. But when you're online, and if they think you're shite, they're going to tell you. You know what I mean? So you don't need one. And even if you're not shite, you'll always get people that make a business out of trying to noise you up and say things to you. So it's a good.
How do you deal with that then? With negativity?
Or I've took parroting. My allergies are really, really bad today, so that's why I'm like, itching my face like mad. Online, listen, I was brought up in a scheme, right? And we can all kid on with the big scheme ways, right? But I was a nutter. I ran about with boys. I get punched with boys, and I fought with boys, and I get called despicable things with people back then when there was no PC rules and there was no mum getting your PlayStation off you, you know what I mean? I was brought up in the era, if you come in and somebody batters you, you get battered for letting somebody batter you. You know what I mean? So I don't have, there's nothing that you can say to me that hasn't been said to me already. And also, you've got to be quick on your toes to take me on in a banter or a roast, because I can assess all your weaknesses within 2 seconds and just obliterate it. You know what I mean? Look at your profile picture. Like one time there was a guy, and he looked very, very like his stereotype, Mr. Muscle. His cheeks were all wrinkly done. He's had his glasses. He's obviously looked as if he had a hard time, and I didn't even slaughter him. I just think, I think you need a cuddle. I think you should go down the stairs, ask your mammy for a wee cuddle, tell her that you've just said horrible, despicable things to a woman online who's a mother, and I've tried to kid on that my balls have dropped, but they haven't. So I need to go and let my mum cuddle me so that I can be okay. So if you go and do that, and then you can come back and send a few wee love hearts to your Auntie Dee, because she still loves you, even though you're a pretentious prick. So
it's good. Well, let's see. It's only positive comments we have so far. We've got Katie McDade sending the love hearts. We've got Trisha saying hi, Dee. Angie Dixon says, brilliant, Dee, gutted your gig got cancelled in Dundee due to lockdown. Hopefully get to the next one. And what was
they're all postponed.
How many gigs did you have on lined up when lockdown happened?
45 had to be cancelled so far. 45, and I had bookings right to the end of the year. That's why I'm not taking any new bookings. That's why when people are questioning me, when you're going to do this or when you're going to do that, I need to be. It's a bit like a hairdresser. I need to deal with the people that need their hair done first. You know what I mean? So I'm not worried about it because I come from fuck all. I've came from fuck all my whole life. Bernardo's have bought me a cooker once before for my Christmas dinner so I can feed my wains. I know what it's like to be hard up. I'm not sitting here worried about not driving a big fancy car. I'm not like some of the people that all they have is comedy. I'm a life coach. I do comedy. There's never a better time to get back to doing my life coaching and helping people sort their heads out. So comedy is great, and I can understand the industry crying just now at the same time, but it's not that I don't sympathise with anybody's path. I've just learnt that life is what it is. Don't ever sit in a gold toilet and think you'll always have a gold toilet. Do you know what I mean? Always appreciate the small things. So this lockdown's gave me a lot of clarity. It's also made me realise I don't fucking like people. I don't like them. I don't want to be around them too much. I'm quite pissed off when I come introducing masks so that people can get closer to me again. I quite like the fact that people stayed about fucking 6 meters away from me. You know what I mean? I'm not enjoying this. People went right in my face. Like, even when I'm out on a bad day, I tend to have my earphones on because I get bad days. I didn't get the fucking crazy Dee Maxwell character of not having bad days. So I put the earphones in and my face says, don't fucking talk to me or I might eat your children. And people still go, hi Dee! And you're like, what are you doing? What am I
earphones in means just stay away. Stay away. Even if you're not having a bad day, just you're in the middle, you listen to your song or you listen to a podcast. You're not into talking. You're just wanting to get into your shopping and get back out.
I could be dreaming about my husband. I could be dreaming about anything. I could be in the middle of just buying. I could be in the middle of a manifestation of getting a new car, and you've just dropped in Angela, and now I'm going to have another pal Angela and no a new fucking car. Do you know what I mean? So
we got into the life coach thing. I seen as well. You were doing. You climbed.
Have I frozen in your side?
No, it's fine. It's
frozen
all fine.
Mine, weird.
It's frozen. Let me just refresh that.
It's fine now. Fine now. It's not doing it now. I don't know what that was.
It was probably just someone just interrupting the manifestation with a comment or something like that. So it was what about you climbed a Monroe? And I've been see lockdowns. A few of my friends are starting to do that. They've never done it before in their lives.
I climbed the Monroe.
I don't know what you did.
I fucking climbed Ben Nevis.
Ben Nevis.
The fucking biggest fucking mountain in UK. That's what I climbed, and I hated every second of it. Every second.
How shite was it?
Shite. In the scale of shite of 1 to 10, it was the shitest thing, and the shitest folks, and the shitest shop, and the shitest shelf.
Does it get? Is it better going downhill, or is that shite as well?
No, that's shite too. It's all shite. The whole experience is shite. Don't do Ben Nevis. It's only to say you've done it. That's all it is. It's just for smart asses to go, but you know, but have you done Ben Nevis though? Have you really? No, I have done Ben Nevis, and you can run up my ribs. I don't care what charity it is. I don't care what fee you give me for it. I am never in my fucking life can back up Ben Nevis ever again.
But you did raise money for charity this time.
Yeah, a lot of us, not just me, collectively. There was loads of us. My friend Kenny Mackay, he's a fitness. He's got metal legs and stuff like that. He's basically, I'm sure that's the medical term for it, right? But he could basically get a disabled badge for his car. He does fit the criteria, and he climbed it as well. You know what I mean? But he get called everything up that mountain because we were meant to do Ben Lomond, and then 2 weeks before it, he announces, let's just do Ben Nevis. Oh, no bother, mate. I've been climbing up half a hill the size of probably the what do you call them, the Teletubbies mountain, do you know what I mean? And now you're asking me to go up this big huge massive thing with 2 weeks notice. That's fantastic. We raised at last look, we were at 11,500, but that's probably more than that. But bearing in mind, loads of people have raised for this girl, do you know what I mean? Jennifer, she's got motor neurons disease and is currently in a hospice, which I don't want to focus on it too much because I want to give her family respect because of what stage they're at. But that's what we were doing it for, and that's what we continue to raise for. And I'm sure if we were bloody doing it again and they were raising funds, I'm sure I'd put myself through it again just for the sake of it, because there's 2 young kids going to be left without their mum.
Absolutely well done for that. And just to go on with just a wee bit more about the life coach stuff.
Oh, Gary's climbing it. Gary's climbing it the 1st of August for another charity. I can't wait to see that because I know he's going to be. He's going to be.
Gary.
No, Gary's getting mental attitude because he's been in the army and all that, right? But this is what I did to him on the phone. I was like, look, mate, do you want this plan that can make you no fat? Because kind of you're dead fat and that. That's exactly what I said to him. He's like, aye, what is it, Dee? And I was like, muscle food. And I gave the link. I was like, here, cheers. And he got him on the muscle food. But we are very much out. I'm going like, climbing Ben Nevis. Yeah. Can't wait to see the state of you, mate. You know what I mean? That's the kind of friends we are, you know. And even when I climbed to the top of my other friend, who's a comedian, Ronnie Park, who does the shows with me, he shouted, Dee Maxwell, and I'm like, get fucked. You know what I mean? They're all at the top going, oh, with the adrenaline. Oh, how does this feel? And I was like, whatever floats your fucking boat, get me down this fucking mountain. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, I'm not that sure about heights anymore. And it used to no bother me when I was younger, but it's just getting older. I don't know. I'm starting to get a wee bit wary about heights and stuff. I don't know how I'd like it.
See if I'd been filmed, see if they'd filmed me going up that mountain, it'd be a best-selling, off-the-cuff, improv comedy film ever. It would take Step Brothers out the fucking water. I'm not kidding you. I was on certain stages and I'm lying in the ground and I was like, I can't do this. Literally like this. This guy that's never met me knows who I am. My comedy, Dee Maxwell will take on 10 guys with baseball bats. There she is, lying in a hyperventilated fucking mess. Fucking -2. This guy just wants to get to the fucking summit. He's drawing the short straw and being left with me. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and he's going, listen, you'll do it. And then I got to like the kind of violent stage where I was going like psycho and I was kicking rocks like, fuck this. You know what I mean? And then I actually was physically sick. You know, you couldn't fucking write it. I tuned into every pathetic weakness that we identify as a woman, that we used to be able to say, I stop being a woman, but you're not allowed to do that now. But everything that was identified as a woman, I played up to that. I might as well went up there with a pair of high heels on like a fucking idiot, because I made the total cunt it, would be the right words. And that wee guy was just boosting up and he's going, right, Dee, come on, you know. And he got me up there. These guys came up, right, this was the best bit. And I was like, and fucking try to hold in that I don't want to do this, because I'm the type of person that I didn't have to do anything in my life that I didn't want to, because I was so destructive as a child that if I didn't want to do something, most folk, even teachers, police, lawyers, just let her fucking do it. Do you know what I mean? Put her in the rain corner, let her light fires, as long as nobody's getting hurted, let her do it. It's easier that way. She's torching the full tune if we don't let her just do that patch of grass. You know, that's the way they dealt with me. So see, getting up there and having to do it fucking killed me. And I did the whole rebellion. I'm not standing next to the stone. I'm at the top. I don't give a fuck. Fuck the stone. Because the stone was like about 3, like, I'd have to go up this other wee toty bit of sharp hill. It was literally like 2 steps. And everybody's like, why would you do that? Because I'm like, I'm fucking not doing it. I'm not fucking going up there just to say, look at me, type of Ben Nevis, feel great about it. Oh, what an achievement. Get fucked.
Well done. You won, I think. Ben Nevis, 2-1 to Dee versus Ben Nevis.
Never again.
So never again, unless maybe she might, for a good cause, maybe. This time, make sure there's a camera crew, at least so you can get like some DVD footage or something like that.
I'd be in a villa in Spain with the amount of money I'd have made for that. I swear, the people that find me funny had seen that video, watching me hyperventilating and nearly the top of a mountain. And then we got to nearly the top, and because of when we went, the tourist path was covered with snow. So then these guys are like, we'll just feel our way around it. And I'm like, stop a minute. We'll just fucking what? We'll just feel our way around a fucking mountain? Well, no, on a wall at your granny's. You know what I mean? Well, no, it's just somebody can take our fucking horn if we fall off. You know, if we feel our way and my fucking stone's no fucking solid, I'm getting down that mountain. I've got 3 wings. And these guys are looking at me like, we'll feel the stone first. Nobody asked you to risk your life first. Just fucking sit back there, dub it, and we'll get you up the mountain. And I'm going, aye, but you're thinner than me. You're thinner than me. And like the guys are just like, you're like 2 stone heavier than us. I thought, there's no way that 2 stone's going to make a difference to that big fucking rock that's been there for years. You know, so I get round that bit, and then obviously with all that trauma, I was just like, I'm not doing that wee totally peak, that wee fucking wee bit there. You can fuck off. I'm standing here. That's the top. That'll fucking do me. That's fine. And it literally was, if a minute, 2 minutes to that wee bit of stone, and I just refused. And now like the normal me is like, why did you not just go to the stone? Why did you climb 4 hours not to just go 2 seconds more to go to the stone? You know what I mean?
So you're going to need to go back then. You're going to need to go back. You've got unfinished business with that stone.
have a fuck, man. That's like saying you need to get back to a bad ride. You never need to do that.
Well, we're going to put up a wee clip for if anyone's not. There's probably a few folk that aren't aware of your stuff. The Tesco rant. So this, did you say it's millions? In the millions?
Aye, 4.2 million hits or something. That was the one that made me. That was the one that got everybody aware of me, and I started getting bookings off the back of that, and then I just went from there, and that's where it started. I've never eclipsed that clip. Do you know that way everybody will say I've never been as naturally funny or as off the cuff and as mental as that video, and I don't know if I could ever reenact a video like that, but it is one of the best. I cringe watching it because it's mental, but it does. Everybody in the world, there's people in Australia and everything messaging me going, look Dee, the vinegar's next to the olive oil here too.
Let's check it out. And there we go.
There. Excuse the fucking Nicky me. I've just been to the fucking gym. And do you know what? I don't give a fuck how I look because I'm fucking heavy raging. I was in fucking Tesco's there, right? And as much as I fucking know that folk have got to start things and move things about, all that psychology pish, they'll buy more if it's at the beginning of the aisle and let's put special deals up there, right? But vinegar isn't something that you generally fucking buy if it's in special or fucking stock up in it. You don't seem to get attracted to it. You generally only buy the fucker when you fucking need it, right? So it's a condiment, right? So condiment says to me, fucking salt, tomato sauce, mayonnaise, all that kind of fucking shit. It should be bang right next to that pish. No, it's fucking no there. I'm up and down the fucking aisle like fucking Usain Bolt trying to fucking fin it and get up the road so I can get fucking something to eat because I'm fucking Hank Marvin because I decided to go to the gym before I get my dinner because the day just all went peak tongue because of these fucking school holidays, which is another cunt trick, willy wank tit fuck for the back. And then I'm up and down there. Guess where the oil is? No, you'll never fucking guess, will you? Right next to virgin oil. You can ram your fucking virgin oil, Tesco's. I'm fucking raging. You fucking wankers. So see, tomorrow I'll only be in 3 times and no 5 times. Sort that shit out. Fucking done my fucking tits in. I nearly set the aisle on fire. Half the fucking shop was nearly phoning the fucking hospital for me. The other half the post. And then the odd cunt that fucking knew me was pissing herself because they know what I'm like. Vinegar is next to fucking salt and pepper. It's no next to virgin fucking. Sort that shit out. Fucking done my fucking tits in. I nearly set the aisle on fire. Half the fucking shop was nearly phoning the fucking hospital for me. The other half the post. And then the odd cunt that fucking knew me was pissing herself because they know what I'm like. Vinegar is next to fucking salt and pepper. It's no next to virgin fucking oil. I don't give a fuck what your fucking manager says or what your fucking big hierarchy at Tesco's. Get your vinegar back next to fucking salt. Because see when I come in next month and it's fucking next to virgin oil, there's going to be a fucking issue.
Strange mood about
You call that radio?
Here to tell the people that we hear you. One God will not allow.
You call that radio.
However you want to say it.
You call that radio?
You call that radio?
However you want to say it, that's kind of part of the fun.
Powered by our patrons.
Brothers and sisters.
We are indeed powered by our patrons. If you want to support the show, there's a wee Patreon link there to do so. As well as helping us build the thing. You also go into the Big Mad Raffle and we've got some good prizes to give away this month. We have joined tonight by Dee Maxwell. I could just see, I was actually going to bring you on screen just to see your reaction, like a video react to you doing it. It's funny watching you react. I should have put it on. So what do you see when you see that? What are you thinking? I was right. What did you put your mask on?
Just it's an alter ego, you know what I mean, and it's an altered state, and it's an exaggeration of things. I model my comedy on the film What Women Want that Mel Gibson was in. and it's like you can hear what women are thinking. So even though I know what I'm saying, shocking, when I go into the D mode, I'm not thinking, I'm just taking it all off. And when I listen to it, I'm just like, oh, stop.
So if you're watching that back with, if you're watching back an old video, and are you, how are you thinking I could use this again for a stand-up show?
See,
is there an element? Because I'd imagine some of your viewers will want you to talk about things like that.
It's like I do still do that. I do model a lot in the Tesco's, because that injustice, that rage that I feel for Tesco's, I use that a lot in the next rant and the wording and the rhythm, and I learnt a lot from it. I don't really use it in stand up now because it's been done so much. Do you know what I mean? So I don't use it as much now, but at the time I did build from it. I did one of my first shows, which was Survival Kit of a Council Child, was modelled on that injustice, and why is that not right? That's not the way it's meant to be in my world. And I model a lot of my comedy on my world, because my mum was like, you stop shouting about the masks. You know what I mean? You're meant to be a public figure. I said, just shut up, man. I'm an online comedian that's well famous. It's all right. It's the same. See, Josh on TikTok says you're going to wear a mask. Well, they're going to listen to Nicola before they listen to Josh. What makes you think they're going to listen to me? She's like, aye, well, you know what I mean? So it's so having that kind of presence. But I don't know. Sometimes I tune into it again. But watching it, I see how rough, how unpolished it was. How obviously it was ranty in the time. I was glad of it. It made me who I am. It made me my big shows. But I've learnt so much from people in the circuit, although I didn't use the actual stage circuit a lot. There was a lot of people that I gained friendships with within the circuit, and I learnt my spacing and my articulation and my speed, and and realising you're going to a market. There's one thing to be a Scottish funny comedian. We've got loads of Scottish funny comedians, but then you've got Billy Connolly, then you've got Kevin, then you've got all the other exports, and that's where I want to be. I don't want to be just known in Scotland. I want to be a world comedian, and with that, I have to learn how to slow down and breathe.
Well, we've actually got an episode tomorrow. We've got the project, which is because I'm a singer, and well, in the loosest sense of the word, but I had a throat operation, and after I was getting back, I went to a couple of voice therapy sessions, and I went for one singing lesson, and it was interesting to learn that everything I was doing was wrong with the whole breathing. I wasn't talking right, singing right, breathing. So I learned a lot in that one session. So I'm going to be bringing on the Sev who did that and Ursula onto the show tomorrow just to talk about it, because I think it's one of those things that I think, especially from working class backgrounds, nobody tells you. You just end up getting flung into a band situation or a stage situation, and there's no rules. So you don't know what you're doing. And I think when you're on stage, you get excited as well. So you can actually damage your chords. And like you said, the Scottish accent, we talk very fast. So if you're wanting to communicate to a wider audience, you are going to need to slow it down a little bit. Yeah. And as soon as you do that, everyone says you sound English, because that's just Scotland for you.
Aye, I've seen it. I did it myself. I remember Kevin Bridges doing the sketch, because obviously he was like kind of, apart from Billy Connolly, was the first comedian that I went to see, because I wouldn't have went to see anyone else. I went to see Lee Evidence back in the day as well, do you know what I mean? But I went to see him, and I remember him saying about him being slagged, like I'm down in Leamington Spa, but Ken Frank Figleska says I'm talking like an idiot, and I used to think, well, you fucking are. And then I got it, and I do have a lot of English fans that actually don't understand half of what I say, but what they do understand is so funny that they still follow me. So, but I'm getting better, and you've got to do it subtly. You've got to subtly slow yourself down. You've got to subtly start rounding your words. You've got to subtly put it in, because if you put it in too quick, they just go, I fucking know watching her she's more interested in her English pals. She's not interested in us now. Ken, it wasn't that when I was sitting in a pub and with air conditioning, listening to her sweating my arse off. That's what we're like in Scotland, is like you forget where you came from. I'm just trying to get back from America, Jeanette. Know what I mean?
Have you played any gigs outside of Scotland yet?
Yes, I've done England, I've done Ireland. I was set up to go to Vancouver, and I was set up to go to Australia, and I was set up to go to LA and Texas and Virginia, and No, I've got a couch and fucking pink hair. Anyway, aye, loads.
Well, the thing about Ireland seems to be quite weird because although they use different words, they speak just as fast, and you can kind of get what a fast-talking Irish comedian's saying. And I think that the same goes for Scottish comedians over there as well. That they might not recognise the word, they go, but they'll know what the word means, and they go, "Oh, that's quite a good word for that."
Mm-hmm. It's like somebody said, I follow somebody on TikTok that's from Ireland, and somebody in America says, "What's this thing? The crack? What is that? What's the crack? I mean, and he's like, "Well, it can be a lot of things. What's the crack? What's the crack? Ah, it's good crack. Oh, that crack and that. What's it?" And do you know, see, listening to him, he's thinking, "What are you fucking talking about? What's the crack? What do you mean? What's the crack?" And I'm thinking, okay, we know what that is. They know what that is, but you go outside there and it's lost in those words. Even Ayrshire words, you'll know as well. It wasn't until I went to do my degree in acting that I didn't know outside of Ayrshire, no one knew what gads meant.
Gads a fuck.
Gads a fuck. Gads, mate. Gads. I said it, I remember it was like something that you know that fuck when you go to like Kilbirnie and you're not from there and you walk into a club yourself, they all just turn around and go, "Who's the pedo?" You know what I mean? Because like, you're not from here, so you're clearly a pedo or something, so get out of a pub. You know what I mean? So that it's the same sort of look. I went like somebody said something in college, and I went, "Oh, gads!" And about 6 head for these like young students that thought it was crazy to bump their money that their mum had given them for college and just have a steak bake for lunch. Were just looking at me like, "What? What does that actually mean?" And I'm like, "Are you serious?" I thought it was an age thing. Then I said to like an older student that was, I think they were from Finiston, and I was like, "You know what gads mean, don't you?" And she's like, "No, I don't." And I'm like, "Holy fuck, right, that's that. I'm in the Twilight Zone." But I just didn't realise that I came from the Twilight Zone. You know what I mean? So that's what it is.
I've been to Fudgeston. You know what I mean?
Fudgestone, you right that. I still remember my pal for Irvine coming for Fudgeston, and she's like, "You stay in Fudgestone, you stay in a vagina stone. This is fucking brilliant." I'm like, shut up.
Got some comments coming in. Sharon, I'm glad I'm watching you. Make me laugh, Dee. Yeah, missed the star sign thing. Well, you'll find it on Dee's page.
It's on the page, darling. It was the live that was done this morning, so she's still just spelled at the top. Sharon
just got a You Call That Radio t-shirt that was posted out today as well. So Sharon, that will wait with you tomorrow. Cheers, Sharon.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. It says Marianne as well. Shouts to Marianne. Also, Colette is in the house. Feckin' Bra, love baby doll. Shouts. We've got Elizabeth in the house. We've got Nadine. We've got Donna Boyd. Homegrown's always best in the house. As well. And so you're really famous now. Does that mean that if you say something or do something, that it could appear in the Daily Record or something like that? Do you get news coverage now?
I've had to block stories before, you know what I mean? I have to be careful what I'm doing. Even in the lockdown, obviously, I'd have my opinion amongst my friends, what I was saying, but for the first time in my life, I didn't go, "Well, I think it's a lot of shite," or speak out of what I actually thought, because I thought I influence people. You know what I mean? Yeah. And there's lots of people that follow me that do have issues and anxiety. And, you know, if I start talking about the conspiracy theories that my sister's on the phone at 2 p.m. in the afternoon talking about, and I put that out to my crowd, that could damage some people. I actually had to unfriend one of my friends today, and I was really gutted because she's what I call it Trumpified. And they're sharing all these posts about, and I'm not saying there's not satanic rituals, and I'm not saying that they're not killing babies, draining their blood and putting it into McDonald's burgers. I'm just saying I fucking like a Big Mac and I don't need that image in my head. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, if it is true, which I fucking highly doubt, I mean, it doesn't matter that it's not true now. I'm the type of person, when you tell me something like that, I haven't ate KFC since all the videos online and the mass production of chickens or whatever. It gave me the absolute heave to even eat it. So now I'm thinking of fucking babies with a fucking Ronald McDonald face on when I'm going to eat a Big Mac. It's not fair.
And with lockdown, is that been good for just eating better, drinking less, that kind of stuff for you?
No, I think I'd already been on my plan for January, and from January I'd already lost 4.5 stone before lockdown was introduced, and I'd 6 years I'd really battled with my weight and really tried to put, because I was trying to find my career, find my feet. I mean, before I went to comedy, I had a full-time psychic medium business, which was actually fucking so much more money than what I'm even making in comedy just now. But it drained me. So I went from that to comedy. So it's just really one thing after another, really, I think. And I just influencing people. I forget now that people actually take what I say as gospel, and I've got to be careful with what I'm putting out there, and I've got to be careful with my opinions. I don't think you should shrink into who you are, but you've got to be careful who's listening. Because with that friend today, I was actually really close to that person. They've got a beautiful energy. They send out loads of love and light. I don't think they're a horrible person. I think lockdown's just made some people really, really fucked in the head. People have never had to deal with anxiety, depression, and having to struggle with their head. That people are actually now experiencing this for the first time in their life, and some people don't know what to do with it, and it's actually quite scary.
Too much time on the internet, and I think that's a big problem because people have normally got work to go to, or gigs to go with, or friends to meet up with, and I think that's an important thing as well, because in the real world, you talk to other people who will say, that sounds like a lot of shite, mate, but in the algorithm world, if you're reacting and engaging with certain posts, you're just going to get fed more of it. And it's
I had good friends fall out with me because the Black Lives Matters and me supporting my friends. Do you know what I mean? Supporting my family. My cousins are Nigerian grand. Do you know what I mean? And I watched racism from a young age. I have first-hand experience of watching people being judged on the colour of their skin. So to tell me it's not prevalent, Ayrshire, for a long time, there wasn't any other colour of skin that's not being racist. That's just fact. You know what I mean? We didn't have like ethnic minorities in our shops or anything like that until maybe late 80s, maybe early 90s. We were so behind with anybody multicultural and all the rest of it. It was unknown to Ayrshire, but my cousins were. And I had to watch them get battered. My uncle ended up in alcohol, and this guy people that I've been friends with, because he was like, well, my missus ran away with a guy who just happened to be black. But does that mean you fall out with lesbians because your missus ended up being a lesbian and ran away with women? I don't get it. Do you know what I mean? So it was like, I get loads of friends fell out with me, and for supporting and I just thought, I can't do this internet anymore, because if we were all sitting in a room, we'd all said 10 minutes ago, do you know what? We all love each other. Who gives a fuck? Help what you can, help what you don't, and let's fucking move on. But
yeah, well, I think on a conversation and a thread, the problem is that a lot of tone's lost as well. So things can look sarcastic when they're not. And yeah, I mean, I think right now it's a strange rise of like conspirituality is the best way to describe it, which is people that are into spiritual stuff and hippies. Some of my friends that are hippies, who in a weird turn of events are now sharing pro-Trump propaganda, which is mind-boggling.
I don't get it. I'm very spiritual. I do Reiki. I believe in light and darkness. I do believe that there's a light side. I believe there's a dark side. I believe that both are prevalent in the world. I believe there's higher energies. I don't believe that fucking Wee Lizzie is a fucking alien. Don't get it. Right? I don't get it. She's an alien. Where's she been hiding her skin for years? Know what I mean? Where's her big tongue? Know what I mean? I'm not buying this shit. I've got an image of an alien, and our Lizzie isn't one of them. You know what I mean? So there's that thing that can thing me. But I do think there's more to it. Do I think they're putting babies in my burgers? No. You know what I mean? Yeah. But is it unlikely that crazy things? Because when you watch things like, what's that I love, but I'm not watching for a long time, is Homeland and Designated Survivor. If I'd known it was going to happen 2 months later, I wouldn't have watched Designated Survivor, because Designated Survivor is basically what we're fucking through just now. Basically, the same conspiracies, the same shit, the same things that they say the government are hiding. I do think there's a big smoke screen over the paedophilia. You know what I mean? I do think there's a big smoke screen. I do think a lot of people have been dragged into the Epstein thing just because they were playing Ring of Roses and they didn't know who they were playing Ring of Roses with. You know what I mean? But I do think that some people have got too much time to think. And if these things are true, if all these elitist things are happening, we're still just the wee lemon. Remember the Lemons, the game Lemons, where 100 of the men ran and only so many you made it to the end? Well, we're the guys. So why mind boggle your thing with things that you can't fix? Well, and sharing them hashtagged on Facebook's not going to make them stop.
Well, if you do get too involved in it, you become the content that you're consuming, and it's not a good place to go down. And also, like you said, what is the point of it all? What can you control? And I'm sure as someone that's a life coach and stuff as well, you'll agree that it's like, look after yourself first, look after your friends, and try and do
I'm
good
very
that
much,
way.
I'm very much, if we're going to talk about spirituality and we're going to talk about body language, I'm very much, I can tell a bad guy and a good guy, and I've never been wrong, right? Obama's a good guy, Trump isn't. That's fucking fact in my mind. But then I'm thinking, and I never liked Michael Jackson either. You know what I mean? There's controversy around that as well. But I don't care how famous I fucking get. I'm not going to go, listen, any chance I can have your rain man, I've put new alarms in my stairs just in case MDR interrupt us. You know what I mean? Why do you need an alarm in your stairs? So, you know, there's all different things. And what I say to people, even with the Michael Jackson thing, just talking about the current conspiracies, right? You don't know Michael. You never stayed with him. You can't say he's a pedo and you can't say he isn't. And it's convenient now he's dead that we're all saying what he is and he isn't. But I'll still get steaming and I'll still listen to Bad and I'll make jokes about a pedo dance. But at the same time as well, we don't fucking know. And you're sharing things for sources that you don't know nothing about. And people in America are cracking up because there's such a divide. So of course they're going to buy into something, because it's very scary to think that we have got something that the human race can't control. Because that is, if you want to be scary about it, is what they're saying we've got. That's what they're saying we have, and they don't know where it's coming from, what it's about, what to do with it. We're wearing masks just in case. So when you put it back to that, it's probably easier to say that Satan's running the world and that we're eating burgers with veins in it.
Well, I suppose it is, because what you've got there is if it's all controlled by a couple of bad guys, then all we need to do is get rid of the bad guys and everything will go back to normal. But the idea that we're living in a chaotic situation and there's nobody smart enough in the human race to just figure this out in the short term is quite scary, because you're like, surely there's somebody smart enough to figure this out.
But if you believe in spiritualism and all that as well, I can't remember her second name, I think it's Debbie. She did a prediction 2 years ago and they're trying to pull it apart. They can't pull it apart. It's solid. She did a prediction. She predicted all sorts of things within what elitists that have happened. They follow the paedophile ring, the names that would come out, the people that would shock you, blah, blah, blah. And she also predicted an influenza-type flu that would come to the world. It would come for 2 years. It would wreak havoc for 2 years and it would go away as quick as it came and no one would be able to explain it. So I hope that's happened. So
who was that? Who was that? Said that? I've not heard this.
I can't remember her second name, but everybody will know. In fact, there'll be people watching, they'll actually just start commenting her name because she's so well known for the prediction that she made, and she spoke about this.
Well, there's been a lot of stuff like Nostradamus and like really old texts that kind of predicted that the world needs to get worse before it gets better. And just, I mean, I think if you just look at it from the point of view that what we've learned is that with austerity, the whole doing just enough to make sure with the NHS and stuff, there needs to be extra money there, extra things ready, so that there is, like, when things go bad like this, that we're ready for it. Because the reason that we weren't ready for it, that's why there's other countries done a lot better than the UK and the USA.
That's always the case. That's always the case. Even since the likes of America, right? America gets 9-inch snow and everybody's still at their work till 9 o'clock. We get 2-inch snow and nobody can get to their work. Do you know what I mean? So we do have a delay, that British thing. I'm not fucking saying it's Scottish, British. When it's getting bad, when we're doing it as the UK, we're not doing it just on women, right? But it's very British thing to say. Let children, let's just sit down and see what happens first. Oh, it's not good. Everybody shut the door. You know, that's very much That's very much the British thing. Very much.
So well, you're right now. You're a Scottish comedian, but if you become famous and start playing in an international scale and start playing around the world, you will then be referred to as a British comedian, kind of like Andy Murray.
I'll fucking stop you right there. I'll stop you right there. I identify as fucking Taurus and I identify as Scottish. None of that shit.
When we went from when you started it, you were already, so you were obviously, I've watched one of your interviews before, so you were obviously just the funny lassie. So you were already a comedian before you went on the stage. And then is that why you started doing the performance? What's the course you're doing? Sorry, what course is it you're doing?
I finished it. I've graduated. I did my higher national diploma in acting and performance.
And you've done other acting roles, more serious acting roles and stuff. Can you tell us a wee bit about that?
Yeah, I've done. I did stage plays. I've done. What did I do again? Blue Stockings, where I was Mrs. Welsh, and I loved that. That's where I learnt my RP. You know, because I did the, you know, Mrs. Welsh. You know, women's rights, and it was a great one because it was about when women couldn't it was when women couldn't vote. There was a bit of suffragette in it, but it wasn't focused on that. It was more about that women couldn't graduate, women couldn't learn. You weren't allowed to go to school, but they'd been just allowed into school, and they were allowed to learn all the things that the guy did, but they weren't allowed to take the test and say that they had that qualification. And they actually educated me at that play, because Scotland actually let women graduate before England did, which that's what I learnt from that play. Also did, what was that one called? And I was the grandmother and it got shot. It was set in Spain. Oh, it was a totally serious one. Everybody died anyway. I got shot in the end. You know what I mean?
Alert.
What?
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
They all died.
Everyone died in the end anyway, guys. But yeah, and I just recently did a feature film. I got an independent film, Timothy Spall's the main part in it, The Last Bus. So I'm a bus driver in it for 5 seconds if it's still there in the film. So I got a feature. That was my first feature role on screen. So I'd like to get more screen work. I would definitely like to do more of my acting as opposed to just my comedy, because acting's my passion and I love it. And comedy's effortless to me. And sometimes I just need that bit more of mental stimulation, learning lines, doing a character build up, doing a history, and working with other people, because stand-up's very solitary most of the time, it can be hard. And I think that's why in years down the line guys have got alcohol problems or drugs or mental health, because they've spent so much time honing their craft and on their own, they've not went outside their box. So I'm very, very passionate about acting, and I think a bit like, what's her name, Dawn French, took her years to be taken seriously, and she did recently a serious role which she was really, really good in. But I don't want to be that typecast where I can only be in funny things. I want to exercise that other side, because I'm really good at crying. I can cry off the cliff dead easy. You know what I mean?
You seen the new series of Curb Your Enthusiasm?
The
woman's a professional crier.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets a jacket off him. But that's a skill. That's a skill to just turn on the.
I can do it. I've done it. I've done videos. I've done I've done a video not that long ago for a support group that I do, because obviously I've been through drug rehabilitation and sexual abuse and stuff like that. So I done a video, and it shows me down in the ground next to the cocaine, all round about me, and it's Women's Work, the song that's playing, and I'm just lying, and you can see the tears, and I'm just feeling the despair. And then it shows you the eyes of me coming up, and then it clips to me being on the stage and doing my thing and just giving people enlightenment, because once upon a time I didn't want to be here. Spent most weeks making sure that I get past the come down to get to the next drug fest, because suicide, I just wasn't quite brave enough to do it. So that was a period in my life where I did that, and where people judge me on. But if I hadn't done all that, and if I hadn't been all those things, people used to say to me when I first went for counselling for my drug addictions and sexual abuse, but if you hadn't been through all that, you wouldn't have learnt the strength. And the online fucking trolling, I'm just fuck off. You know what I mean? Or you just called me a big fat idiot and I should stay in the house. You know what I mean? I've been called fucking worse for my own mum. You know what I mean? So give me a break. But yeah, it's just I love acting. It makes me escape.
Was that part of the? Was that a part of the rehab? A deliberate part? You thought, I'm going to try and put all my experiences into something positive. Is that when you started thinking about doing acting, or?
No, what happened was I came out of rehab in a few years, and then I went back to doing. I was working in the leisure centre because I was a fitness instructor, a swim teacher, and a lifeguard. And I'm back to that, and I got a lot of grief there from my weight from some of the boys. There really was bad bullying on at that pool, to be fair. You know what I mean? And it never was addressed. It was another situation. You worked there, if you could survive the fucking working there, you could survive anywhere. But what happened was I went to Parent Network Scotland, it's called, right? And it's just it gives you life skills and gets you in amongst women. I did a couple of courses with them, and it built my confidence again, get back on track. And I was at a Parent Network Scotland event, and Carmen, who plays Kelly Marie in River City, was there. Her husband works for Parent Network Scotland. We also went to the Valley Arc together years ago as doing more acting there as younger. And I met her, and my friend Leon Hay is her name, but I knew as Leon Graham. That was and she was actually one of my lecturers in the end. But what happened was they said to me, I said, oh, I'm going to go and do counselling. I was going to go and do my HNC in counselling. I was going to become a drugs counsellor and a survivors counsellor. And they both, and Leon looked at me and she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because I did acting for years as a child and then fell away from it with all the drugs and the bad living and falling down to life. And she's like, why are you not doing your acting degree? And Leon went, you were naturally brilliant. And I mean, I went to that, I did go to the college that she worked in, but I independently applied for it. You know, I didn't discuss that she was my friend or anything like that. And I went for my audition and I got in. And she never ever taught me, and it went from there. So I was actually, acting, it was actually basically Carmen saying, why not go for it? Why not do it? If it was your passion, why are you going to do counselling? Go and do it. And Leon had basically backed up what Carmen said, and I went and did it. You know what I mean? So it was something else. In my national record of achievement, if you can remember them, but in my national record of achievement, it had said I either wanted to be a social worker or an actress. So it was always there as a child dream, but because I came from a working class family and people like that didn't do stuff like this, you know what I mean? We didn't come from that kind of life. No, you couldn't become somebody that would be asking for your autograph out in the street. Don't talk stupid away and get a real job. So I kind of fell into that. So I was 36 when I went and did my acting degree. So it's not that far in the past. So yeah, it came from there.
It's a thing that a lot of people don't sort of understand if they're from maybe middle class, especially more kind of Glasgow area, that the whole, I mean, it's one of Scotland's best points and worst points. You don't get ideas above your station. So if someone comes in acting like a big ticket into a house party, they're going to get ripped to shreds, which is fine. But we just kind of clip people's wings before they even get started. So, like, you know, someone plays a song in a house party, they play one of their own songs, and then everyone's just like, play Wonderwall. You know what I mean?
Well, see, that's the thing. I've got a friend, Cameron McPhail, he's just actually put, I'm giving you a wee plug, mate, but he's actually just put his stuff on YouTube, and he used to just play covers and that, but lately he had wrote a lot of songs, but we used to sit like stupid o'clock and he would just bring his guitar out and his voice is just mesmerising. So I did come from that generation. We would sit and we'd have a smoke, and his father played the guitar and he learnt off him, and it was all age groups. There was a place in Kilbirnie called the Bowery, the King's Arms, right? Predominantly the Rangers pub, but my favourite pub, that's where I like to go, and they would all play, and you know, and it was an amazing vibe. And that's what I'm worried about for the arts, losing that live interaction, losing that feeling of music only can touch your soul if you really like it, but to me, music and laughter need to be in the atmosphere together and then going through your body to make you feel better. And that's what I worry about they're missing with their whole, you know, live stuff doesn't matter. Yes, it does, because that's what keeps people that are in corporate jobs sane. We're part of their medicine, and the sooner you realise that, the sooner you it's important for people with live music and live comedy and live stuff to get back out and give it back to people in some way.
Yeah, it's very true, because they don't seem to realize, like, I couldn't believe as well that comedy's not even, I mean, the arts has been given a rescue package, and it's just too much money to get your head around. Also, I mean, I'll give Creative Scotland the benefit of the doubt, but my experience has been that it doesn't tend to get dished out fairly. Or it's not so much, it's not dished out fairly, it's just I've never seen any of it. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, I haven't filled out the form, so I literally haven't applied myself to apply and fill out the form.
Yeah, the Scottish industry, I'm not backwards at coming forwards. I have a lot of people that work in TV, BBC and Friends and all that, and I don't care what anybody says, there's talented people on all the circuit of Scottish drama, because you seem to get the same actors getting round in circles doing all the Scottish dramas, and I'm not saying there's not really good actors in there, but it's 100% who you know. It's nothing to do with your talent. It's who you get to know, who can get you in a door, who can help you out, who will actually be able to say, give her the time of day or give him the time of day. It's all about who you know in Scotland.
And that's another middle class privilege, because people will come in with a certain confidence that someone from working class will just have this sort of internal monologue that says, "Oh, I'll not get it. I don't want to, you know, put myself out there like that." But yeah, I didn't finish what I meant was so there is going to be money it's going to get put in the music scene. Whether it goes to the right places, that's another question. We can debate that after it's the fact. But it's crazy to me that comedy is not considered an art form, which blows my mind, because there's people that You know, like my brother, he loves going to, when he gets paid, he goes to a comedy night. He doesn't go, he's not that bothered about the live sort of music scene.
I honestly, I've seen it before, and I don't mean this to sound cheeky. I'm not, this is fact. A good comedian gets paid a lot more than a good musician. I'm talking about the level of pubs and clubs and that stuff. You'll pay more for a comedian than you will a musician. So to say that they're both not needed is bullshit, because you'll not pay a lot for a singer. You actually undervalue a singer sometimes, if I'm honest, because I've had to fight and say, no, they're coming with me, but you'll need to give them that. You know what I mean? But I've never had to fight for my fee.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's where you've got to realise what people in pubs and clubs actually want. They don't just want music, and unfortunately, music can sound a lot better sometimes to people, especially the younger generation. Unless you're a hippie, you're out there and all the rest of it. The younger generations are not mad festival ravers and all the rest of us like us. They're online, their TikToks, their graphics, their sound control, and live music sometimes just not their bag. So a lot of pubs, that's not what they're looking for anymore. And people can get music on a jukebox, so why would they pay a £5 a ticket to go and see them live? So there's a lot of element of that, unless it's an unknown act, a new entity, or somebody that's really rising. So to say that comedy isn't on par with music is bullshit. I wouldn't say it isn't more important, but to say it's not on par.
Well, I mean, that's the conversation. It's like, if you're going to say ballet, opera, live music, all these things will get an injection of cash, but comedy's just not even in the conversation. That actually it's incredible, because I mean, it's the art of crafting a joke, the stagecraft of making an audience laugh. And I've done a little bit, not actual stand-up comedy, but hosting, like putting nights on and hosting it, or maybe doing a spoken word thing where I come in with comedy poems. And the buzz of making people laugh is amazing. But I like coming in for an angle where they're not expected to laugh. So it's a nice surprise if they laugh. But I think I'd be quite scared. I've always been kind of sort of a bit hesitant about doing comedy, because if you don't make the crowd laugh, then you've actually failed. And with music, it's a wee bit different. There's a kind of grey area where it's like, you know, you have really good musicians playing while people eat their food at a restaurant, and everyone's kind of like, yeah, they're quite good, but they're ignoring them while they're chatting. But with a comedian, it's like, I mean, it doesn't mean that it could be a shite crowd, but if you've not made them laugh, you haven't succeeded in that. Have you had any bad gigs that you don't mind sharing? Have you ever had a bad one?
Honestly, people hate it when I say this, and I'm not making it up. Everybody talks about this died on your arse. It's never happened to me.
Yeah.
And people hate me for saying that, and they think I'm making it up, but I have never died in my arse, and I'm absolutely terrified of it. I'm not going to lie, but I've never died.
It's strange, because you were established before you started doing it in a way. So you already had fans there, so it's probably not going to happen to you now.
I think that's probably where the old school got a bit bitter with me, because I didn't get the fear of, is my craft that good? I always entered the room knowing that there was 5 or 6 people in there, and the smaller crowds that were there to see me. From the very beginning, I very rarely did something that they didn't know who I was, or someone wasn't there to spread the laughter. And sometimes it's not that you're not funny, it's just you're not their type of funny. And that's what happens to a lot of people that are dead funny, that maybe die in their arse. But because I worked online, because I was able to fill, within my first 6 months, I was able to fill halls of 200 people, I didn't use the circuit.
People must have been raging. There must be a lot of jealousy. People must have been raging.
Fucking people still hate me for it, but you know what? Fuck off, you don't know me. So it's just, people would say, it's the same, but I've always been hated in every job. There's always been a corner of people that don't like me, because I am very honest. I'm not in the slightest bit two-faced. If I don't like you, you fucking know. And I am the type of person that will cut off my nose to spite my face. I would never be that comedian once they started wanting to book me, because I've got to a level and they know that they can make money from me. See, when you shut that door the first time, mate, I made sure it was fucking locked. So no, I'll not be working for you. I'm that type of powerhouse. So I don't give a fuck what they think. I don't care who doesn't like me. Loads of people don't like me. Boo fucking who. Loads of people love me. And that's all I need.
What was it like doing your show at the Edinburgh Fringe?
Amazing. That was very, 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 very scary. That was scary. And that was going into a crowd of people. But then at least 10 of them at the back of that were people that came to see me, family, friends, you know, the usual, your first gigs, it was 10 minutes. I was on after an Irish guy that gave me a spot, Michael Porter. I put it on the forum and everybody's just like, fuck her, nobody's giving her a Fringe thing. And Michael Porter's like, fire up. And it was a late on spot and I was nervous. I fell out with my pal. I lost my car in the car park and I didn't even remember. And I know I dropped a few lines out of some really good ones because I was doing the sketch about Slimming World and being a mum, you know, and I'd forgot to say the bit where your wings stood at peace. I'd maybe eat them too, you know what I mean? So I forgot that, but it was scary, but it was brilliant. And see, for that day, I went, this is me, I love this. That whole stage presence and cheering and shocking and making people laugh, and there's no bigger buzz, and I miss it so much. It's fucked my head up so much that I've decorated my house.
How's the decorations going? Are you a natural at that?
Well, I've learned how to decorate, but I've done the whole shitbag thing. That I got paper that was dead easy and it didn't need match for my daughter's room, so I decided I wouldn't get out my box again because it was dead difficult to cut in and stuff and all that shit they talk about. So I just did my wee boys the same, and then I decided, well, fuck it, I'm doing my room the same and all. So I'll just do it like somebody paints a full house the same colour. I was wallpaper at the same thing. I don't plan to be here forever, so I'll just make it nice. So that'll fucking do me, and I can match that paper, and I can't get empty into bloody decorate it, can I? Because of flipping lockdown, it's not a necessity to have nice walls.
We're going to play a wee clip for YouTube. Relationships and cheaters. Can you tell us a wee bit about this one? This is quite an early one.
Yeah, this was a really early one, and it was probably when I split up with my ex, who was a compulsive liar and cheater. You know what I mean? So I'd been with them for 12 years, and it was just out of that. And it was actually speaking to a girl. She says, well, I don't actually sleep with, you know, somebody's boyfriend that I know the girl. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? So you sleep with them just because you don't know the girl? And I just hate that whole, you know, I couldn't help myself, and I didn't mean to sleep with your boyfriend. His cock just fell inside me, and I'm just like, I can't do it. And it's all about that. It's basically about girls giving it all the big I am, but then they would sleep with their friend's man, and it's just girl code. You don't breach girl code.
Let's check it out.
My pals all the weekend that have been fucked over. I'm going to talk about relationships. You know what I mean? The crazy motherfucking things that crazy folk do that I've gave up as a bad habit. But I was talking to my pal and all that and fucking different things, you know what I mean? Listen, I have to be straight with you, right? But a leopard doesn't change its spots, right? See, if they're a cheating bastard, right? They're a cheating bastard. I'm not talking about the odd bands that are fell in love, getting that big story. I couldn't help having an affair with my best pal's fucking brother. That's fine. I get that shit, but I mean serial fucking cheaters, you know, the ones that just, like, you're walking by folk in the town and you're seeing folk being awkward with you and you're thinking, what if he pumped him when I flung him out last week? What if he pumped her when I flung her out? You know what I mean? The likelihood is that he did, and that's why they're looking at you as if they want to watch, and you're like, fuck off, you scab. You were fucking just battered, didn't you? You know what I mean? I'm making me stuff right because that makes you more special, doesn't it? Don't talk shite, right? So what I'm going to say to you is, stop lying down to shit. Stop fucking letting folk into your circle that shouldn't be fucking in it. Why do I have a good fucking thing with? Why do I not give a fuck about what MD says about me? Because my circle's tight. I've got morals. I've got respect for myself, and I love myself. See, if you don't want to be fucking treated like shite, don't go to the weekend and become the party fucking toy, do you know what I mean? And then wake up on the Monday and go, I hope they don't tell anybody. They'll not tell anybody if you don't fucking date them, including myself and some of that. No as severe as that, but you know what I mean? Fucking knows. Party, one night stands, fuck it, get up you while you're young and all that shit, you know what I mean? It's not even worth it, do you know what I mean? It's like a bad pill for the doctor, do you know what I mean? They tell you it's going to help you, but it takes weeks to kick in, and then once it does, you've got to deal with the cum and come after him. What's the fucking point, right? So what I'm saying to you is see if your life's not changing, see if it's not getting any better. Don't look at my post and get pissed off and talk about it behind my back, because you forget I'm psychic and I can sense that shit off you, right? But see, at the end of the day, you get up off your pity potty, you fucking start smashing your goals and you start making your life, and don't make fun out of folk that are trying to make it different, try to be more than that council scheme way, you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with how you live. I don't fucking judge you. But see, when you're judging me, takes me a lot of kicks in the fucking punch bag and a lot of fucking pressing kilos to fucking no come round and set you in fucking fire. Because I do feel like that sometimes. I'm still like that. I'm still that fucking lassie that wants to smash folks' faces in. The difference is I don't behave like that anymore. Because you know what? I'll kill you with my success. I'll kill you with my smile. I'll kill you with my fucking shedding the pounds. I'll kill you with my new job. I'll kill you with my happy life. I get depressed. I get down days. I get nights where I wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm looking at my hit list and it's longer than the tick list. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, fuck it, get to your bed. It's not worth it. So what I like to say is, don't fucking challenge them with fighting. Don't challenge them with going round to their door. Don't say this and that. Can you play chess? All that shite. Challenge them with being happy. Challenge them with changing your life. Challenge yourself by changing your life. Don't expect things to change if you're not going to be willing to change them yourself, right? I don't give a fuck what looking like shite. I still look in the mirror and I think I get a cracking smile, get a cracking set of legs, by the way. 80 kilo squatting bastard, and I swear to God, my arse is fucking nearly phenomenal. It's my opinion. I don't need yours. And that's the difference. Don't do shit for folks' approval. Make it your shit. Make it about you. Look in the mirror and pat yourself in the back and fuck every cunt else, because you know what? The haters are what you feel after, but you certainly don't give them airtime. Peace out.
Brothers and sisters.
Is that you, Daniel? Are you before me?
Call that radio.
You call that radio.
Hello, yes, this is Dog.
She called that radio. We stream live to YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live every night. Well, no, every night. I tried to do it every night. Do you know what? For lockdown, I went the first 30 days without taking a day off, and I just realised that you need a day off, don't you?
Aye. I wound mine down. I was doing quite a few shows and then I took a couple out and just, you know what I mean? Because it was governing my time, and once I was allowed to get out a wee bit, I was just like, I was actually getting annoyed thinking, oh, I need to go live in 2 minutes, and I'm thinking, I don't want to be like that. So it really, I did, at first I was all over it and, you know, cheering everybody up in lockdown, and they needed it at the time because I did cheer up a lot of folks doing mad dances and work out with Dee first thing in the morning and live, jumping up and down, and it made everybody feel a wee bit brighter and lighter, because at first everybody was terrified, weren't they? Now we're just adapting to what the next stage is, do you know what I mean? Well, some folk are adapting, other folk are thinking we're going to have big aliens and pedos are coming to get us, so...
It's all right. Trump's going to save the day anyway, so it's fine.
What is he saving, but I'm confused.
Well, that's the thing that annoys me a wee bit about the conspiracy theories, is because basically it all comes down to it's all fine though, because Trump's going to save the day. Well, if you believe that, then stop sharing it, because it's all going to be fine anyway. That's where I'm at with it.
That's what I'm like, well, if he's saving the day, you want to tell me fucking hurry up about it, because I don't want to wear masks for much longer.
Petra says, I'm definitely a new D fan. She kens. Sharon says, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, get to your bed. It's no worth it. Class. Malcolm says, fucked me up that much I decorated. Mark says, Dee's funny. I'll need to go and see her when she's back on stage in Glasgow.
Thank you.
Raymond Dito, comedy has to be one of the most oldest art forms, harking back to the days of court jesters.
100%. That's what I'm saying. That's why it annoys me. It annoys me that we're undervalued as a circuit, and we're always just like the court jester was undervalued, right? We see when there were times of fucking war and depression, like we're in the now, we've not experienced a war, right? Actually, it's funny, I'll tell you this now, right? I was sitting at the bus stop the other day there, just actually putting something in the bin. I wasn't going on the bus, I'm not that brave yet. But there was this old guy, right? These two students, right? And they're going, you know, it's just like, I'm not allowed to express myself. He says, express yourself. I knew what it was like to have me running water, share a toilet with 6 other fucking hussies, and you're worried about wearing a mask. Away and have a fucking word for yourself when you're a panic attack. Brilliant. And I mean, I know that there's not real anxiety, because I do suffer from it, but you know, some people are just like, can I wear a mask with anxiety? When did you have it, Angela, last week? You've just got anxiety. You know, there's people going, I've got asthma. Not had it since I was 7, but I've got it. Can't wear a mask. And I'm just wearing it thinking, I don't want to wear it. It looks stupid. I feel it's it. I don't like going with the system. I'm kind of fuck the system kind of people and put it on. But comedy isn't everything. See the life coaching I do, I'm so successful with it because I inject comedy into it. See, when I was a psychic medium and I was talking to your dead gran on the stage, I injected comedy into it. That's why I was good at my art, and that everything I've done in life has had an element of comedy. So to say that we're not important, well, watch this space, because we might be online, we might be able to make money that way, but when you're depriving people of that natural time, that comedy of picking somebody in the audience and going, who done your fucking hair? You know what I mean? Having a laugh. They don't realise how much, if there was no need for court jesters, we're in the middle of World War II, but we better TV Jimmy a show at the stage, you know, he's no jumped about in his jester suit for half a week. No, they needed him. They needed him to inject humour into a dark time. So to say this isn't a time of uncertainty and darkness, which we're all trying just to forget and adapt to, but it is, it's a time of uncertainty, and to say that, oh, well, we don't really need the comedians, on your fucking head be it, because we dominate most things in the natural mind. Laughter is good for the soul. When you can make a joke about yourself, it can help you lift out a bad situation. When you're with somebody, when somebody dies and you're with somebody that's funny, they can make jokes out the situation that can lift you up momentarily out your grief. How the fuck is that is not science and craft and important, and as important as most things in life is bullshit. It annoys the life.
All these people with supposedly important, big, high-flying jobs that have just been sitting furloughed with 80% of their wages in the house. What were they doing? They were watching Netflix. They were watching their favourite stand-ups. They were going jogging, listening to music that an artist crafted.
I've had a 20,000 increase in fans from lockdown. People that would generally probably would just pass by me, but because they actually took time to see, like, Dee's not just comedy, she does this, when you don't watch her live. Some people watch my chat show things, but they don't watch my lives because my lives are too much for them, because it's too hard and brash. But it's opened so many doors for me. It also let me meet people in the circuit that prejudged me because of what other people had said about me, because of how I did things. And as you know, Kilbirnie and Ayrshire, they use the word black as dirty. They don't mean it in any way, in a racist way. And I said it I said it out and didn't realise that anybody else, a bit like the word gads, it was offensive anywhere else. So I got shot down with that, and now don't use that word. Although everybody round about me still uses it, because they're not being racist, because they don't see it as anything outside Ayrshire, because we've always just dirt is the colour black. That's why it's called that. So that's why we say it.
Well, I think it kind of comes down to the coal mining communities, understand?
Yeah.
So it's like people would go out. I don't know if it's true, but I've heard Black Friday, because the idea of that is that people would come out the mines and they would just go straight to their night out, their Christmas night out kind of thing as well. And it's a word that, you know, I mean, I moved to Glasgow when I was really young, so you don't really hear it that much in more like in a multicultural city. But it's just a word that people use, and like you said, most places in Ayrshire there is no multiculturalism. It is just very white, predominantly white. So it's never occurred to anyone that might be seen as an offensive thing.
Although it isn't set out to be offensive. It doesn't derive from an offensive old-time word that, you know, we've used it because we've used it. It's not an offensive word. It's not connected to race whatsoever, Nation. It's connected to dirt and coal mines, with your dad coming out the coal mine and just totally covered in black suit, and that's where it came from. But yeah, I don't use it anymore because I don't want to offend anybody else, and I wouldn't want anybody.
Well, I mean, it's the same with certain words that, you know, growing up with, you would hear getting bandied about, and you wouldn't know that they were offensive. But once it's pulled up, by the way, that's offensive to people, then you don't need to use it. It's just you just go right for it. You don't need to judge someone who's maybe using a word by mistake until they know. Obviously, if they say, "Oh, I don't give a fuck," and they do it anyway, that's different. But at the end of the day, all about the context. If someone's saying something and they didn't mean anything by it, and then you correct them and they stop using it, then what's the big problem, really?
That's what I think. I think that's what's lost. There's a lot of good people like myself terrified to say most things now, just in case it offends. And that's what I was talking to my friend about. My friend, because it's quite funny, I talk about this story all the time, right? My friend's Chinese, right? And we were up in Glasgow just like 2 days before the lockdown, right? And we're meeting up, and this old guy shouts to him, right? He's got the war medals and all that on, right? And I've got respect for the wartime people as well. I'm not saying anything against them either. And he turns and goes, "Hey, you fucking brought this here, you wee bastard." And he went, what, COVID fucking 19, you and your fucking father. And he's going, what, it started in Pollock, mate? What I mean? And it was the best response ever, because I thought he could have went home, felt his heritage, felt horrible, felt and he just thought, fuck off, oh man, I was born in Pollock, get to fuck. And that's the idea that's the way it should be faced with a lot of situations. And in a lot of situations with racism speaking, and my friend was on who's Asian and as well he's gay. So he's had the double edge of being gay and Asian. He spoke about going on a train like it was normal, it was going to be one day that somebody spat on me. And I'm thinking, holy shit, that shouldn't be normalised behaviour. You shouldn't have to think that one day you're going to have an racist attack. How do I deal with it? And I think born in this situation, and me personally, I'm only racist to one fucking race, and that's cunts. MD outside of that, I'm fine with them. You know what I mean? But my friend get a lot of Chinese stuff at the time. He was like, it's you, it's brought it here, and then he's sitting there 2 nights later eating special fried rice. You're like, who made that? You know what I mean? Because you went to your local Chinese to get it, but you're not standing next to him in a queue in Tesco's. Be mindful of what you're thinking here. But yeah, I don't believe there's any place for any sort of prejudice and racism. You shouldn't have to bring anybody down. If you're articulate and intelligent enough, you can have a heated debate, an argument with somebody without being personal about it, and without having to bring down something about their identity, whether it be fat or whether it be a cultural thing that you say about it's not needed. And there's plenty of things that people say, oh, they're taking our comedy away, PC. There's fucking loads you can joke about that doesn't have to offend anybody. Do you know what I mean?
I think that's the thing. It's like the punching down. I suppose that's where the kind of line is. Whereas, and it's also, I think it's also a lot of it's lazy comedy as well, because I'm not a big believer in censorship, but it's the freedom of speech, but also freedom. People have freedom to say that shite. You shouldn't say that as well. But if you're making a well-crafted joke, then you can get away with a lot in my book if it's funny. But a lot of people just want to say lazy punchlines.
Right. But most people that are making jokes about a race or back in the day or weight or anything, they're actually taking the piss out the person that has that view. Do you know what I mean? They're not actually being racism in most things that I've watched. If you're clever and intellectual enough to watch it properly, they're actually taking the piss out the closed mind idiot that thinks like that. Do you know what I mean?
Is it Al the pub landlord?
Aye.
Yeah, he did that great, but a lot of it, he's got so many fans that think he's serious because he just did it so well.
Exactly. That's the thing, is he done. It's like me doing my derogatory talking about sexual content. I mean, my biggest hang up just now is I've been single for 2 years. Guys don't want to date me because they think they're dating Dee Maxwell, and unfortunately, guys, Dee Maxwell on the stage, that's where she finishes and ends. I'm not that person. I don't actually date anybody that walks up to me in a pub, just so you know, and asks me if I want a finger blast. It doesn't work. You know what I mean? It doesn't work when you walk up to me and say, Ken, that time you were talking about how you were spinning up down a guy and riding his face, why to ride mine. It doesn't work. So I've caused myself enough fucking controversy with my comedy because I do it so well that people actually think I'm that crazy bitch that jumps about drinking buckfast and shagging boys with a Burgess. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing.
Sharon says, everyone went against Frankie Boyle. He got folk talking. Yeah, I think a lot of Frankie Boyle's jokes went over a lot of people's heads. I can't comment on all his jokes because some of them you're like, for fuck's sake, Frankie. But there was a lot of really clever stuff that he did that was a kind of, it was taking the piss out of the way the media were presenting certain situations.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Frankie Boyle's comedy. He's fucking clearly phenomenally intelligent and he's clearly good. And he probably doesn't like my comedy. I wouldn't say he was shite. You can't say somebody that's made the money he's made and say he's shite or he shouldn't need it. I don't believe, I think because I'm a survivor of sexual abuse, I don't think there is any appropriate joke for paedophiles. But then recently I've been making jokes about it and saying, fucking can't he touch me? I've been touched by a pedo, so I can say pedo jokes. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm making a joke in society now that you're not allowed to joke about things unless it's something to do with your frame of things. Frankie Boyle's a fucking super intelligent guy. That is fact. Do you know what I mean? He knows what he's doing. Personally, I don't believe that taking the piss out of cancer victims and talking about Jade Goody when she was going to die till death do us back part, I give you a week. People, I don't find that funny. Is it funny to other people? yes, it is. And again, that's where censorship comes in. And I do believe, I've spoke to older comedies, and I won't out them because they're quite big names, people that I speak to, right? But they've all said, if you don't fucking like it, don't come and watch us. And I think that's lost a wee bit. I think that people have not got the freedom to be who they want to be. And I'm not saying that you should be allowed to put on a whole racist show and do stuff like that. That's not what I mean. But I think there needs to be a wee bit of, you know, you don't like him, nobody's asked. That's like me. I don't like Frankie Boyle, but hold on.
What about Jerry Sadowitch?
Jerry Sadowitch, one of my fucking main guys. I love Jerry Sadowitch. He's my favourite. I've been to see him, but he's got it down because you take your phone out in that fucking room, you're out. You know what I mean? There's nobody can video Jerry Sadowitch. There's nobody can say. And again, he one of the shows I went to see him, he was reading his Frankie Boyle's autobiography, having a wank, kidding on he was having a wank. So, you know, there's obviously not so many love lost there. You know what I mean? But
I think I had a show that said I understand that he had a show called, because Frankie Boyle had a show called I Would Gladly Punch Every Audience Member in the Face, and Jerry Sadowitch kind of copied the tour city by city, roughly speaking, and it was called I Would Gladly Punch Frankie Boyle in the Face. So I don't know exactly what the script is there, but I think...
You want to know what the script is? Jerry Sadowitch says, because he said it in his shows, and I've heard it from the guy's mouth, that Frankie Boyle stole his material. But then what's the people say? People they deem to be doing better than them in mainstream stole their material. You know what I mean? And I just think that unless you're doing somebody's material word for word, but if it's topical, we will come out with the same things. You know, even when I did that thing today about Star Sign, some of you Lewis's fans were going, go and see Lewis, he was dead funny. I didn't do Lewis's sketch. I did my sketch on my own anger of Star Sign. So I didn't take anything away from that. Was out there for me to have a joke about it. So that's the thing that's lost. And I don't believe in saying anybody's shite, because you can't say Frankie Boyle's shite. He fucking wouldn't be where he was if he was shite. He's controversial. He likes the shock. He probably doesn't believe in half of the stuff that he says, because I say things that I don't believe in and I do it for shock and laughter. But to me, because the type of person I am, I don't believe in the disabled jokes. I don't believe in the cancer jokes. Don't believe in any. I don't laugh at them when I'm in house parties and nobody can hear it. I'm not that closet person that goes, "Oh, that was dead funny," but I wouldn't laugh at it outside. I don't find that funny, but that doesn't mean they're not good.
What about another Scottish comedian we haven't mentioned, Limmy? What do you make of Limmy stuff?
Well, Limmy, I met Limmy years and years ago, not knowing it was Limmy, because he's Mrs., who I'm still friends with, Lynn, online. She was friends with another friend. They came to a kid's birthday party, and Limmy was there with Lynn. This is before I was even aware of who Limmy was. I'd spoke away to him, and then I'd seen him online, and that's when I knew he was clever, because I met the real guy. I met the guy who wasn't trying to present himself as Limmy, and he's fucking not Limmy. They're nothing like each other. He's quite quiet. He's quite reserved. He doesn't stand out. He's not. You don't even know he was there. You know, he's nothing like who his character and who he puts out. And I think he's fucking genius. I think he's hilarious. My mum hates him. My mum thinks he's disgusting. She thinks he should get back to school and learn how to talk properly. And who the fuck runs up and down the street and goes on shouting and she's turned the reins against us. But I love him. See the one where he does the what's the one? And he goes like, "Hey, you say that again, eh?" And he's like, "That voice, I fucking love it," because that's how we feel about people in Aberdeen and Dundee. I've got a friend, Spike, and he's from Dundee, and I constantly wind him up because he hates it, because he says, "I'm not from Aberdeen, like, I don't speak like that." Like, I went, "Fucking do. That's the way you speak." So I love all that, but I love Limmy. He's great.
Yeah, top man. Limmy actually shared the show one night, and we had Darren Connell on the show. And it was kind of early on, and me and Darren were just having a wee chat, and then all of a sudden we got like 1,500 people turned up, and we, to be honest, it caught us by surprise. We're a wee bit like, what the fuck's going on here? But Darren Connell's another brilliant comedian.
Brilliant, love him. He is my I'm on Darren's Facebook. I have conversed with him, not close friends, not we say we know each other or shared a coffee, but we're Facebook friends, and I fucking love him. See Scott Squad and fucking Bobby, but that's the only reason I watch it. If they wrote him out of it, I wouldn't watch Scott Squad. I like the other guys. I like Grado in it as well, obviously, because he's one of your homegrown Stevenson boy. You know what I mean? But other than that, I fucking love him. See, just that Officer Calm, and you're thinking, you're putting yourself in that situation, you're thinking, I'd fucking wrap the nut in him. But it's because you would wrap the nut in him. It's and how patient Officer Calm is with him and the stuff he comes in. I'm thinking, or you would just choke. And you always know somebody like that. You always know a Bowie. You always know somebody who talks like that, and you think, is he but he's fucking genius. He's hilarious.
Stand-up comedy as well is very different, but it's kind of just so weird and entertaining. Shouts to Dan Connell.
I've not seen any stand-up, to be fair.
Well, he doesn't actually. He's one of these ones that doesn't put any stuff online, I think, as well. I think you just you need to go to the show if you want to see it. And I don't know if you could do an actual show. I mean, I suppose there's been a bit of live stand-up shows going on. I mean, I think the Stand have been getting some really good numbers on the Saturday night doing it. Have you attempted to do anything like that yourself during lockdown?
I've done the Zoom stand-up that's selling it obviously to Texas and Canada and that, and it's selling a lot of hotcakes, and it's a proper stand-up show. You know what I mean? I think you need to do it from the sign like you're actually pretending there's an audience there, and you actually look as if you've got an audience and make it look like there's the stage thing, which makes you feel like a dick. But for what I've seen, that's what sells better. When I've done the Zoom ones where I've got the background and I'm actually standing up with a mic for an hour, which is pissing shit. But you stand up for a mic for an hour for less money when you're at the stage shows, and they're buying into that, and there's an oil rig that's buying it as well to stream it to the guys. So I've not advertised any of that. They've all came to me. They've all just inboxed the fan page, and I've started selling that outside that. So I think because I'm online based, I'm more comfortable with it anyway. This is where I started. This is my playground. So I'm not finding my feet with it, whereas other guys are just starting to see what it can do for them. Do you know what I mean? So it's good.
Well, I suppose it is. It's just that the art is of just letting jokes breathe and seeing how it goes down. So there's a lot of maybe, you know, the start, you know, so many comedians do it very well where you make a joke, and if it goes down well, then you move on. But if it doesn't go down that well, then that takes you into another wee bit about, you know, that self-depreciation of, oh, you didn't like that one.
It teaches you the rhythm and all that, and it did. I did learn a lot from people, and I was Big Billy Big Boss, and I did straight away have an instant audience, but I did have to learn a lot on my feet, and I probably had to learn it very quickly because I went from thinking I was a smart ass for 10 minutes to an hour, and I honestly did smash that. But most people like, this is when she'll die. This is when she's going to fuck it up. Think she's smart, but looking back at the shows now, they were fucking hilarious, but they were just standing there talking just the way Billy Connolly and that does it. It's just natural talking, and that's what I'm all about. I don't like gimmick fucking character, you know, telling jokes with punchlines. I don't enjoy that comedy, but then other folk don't enjoy my stories. I just think they need to have a really serious think about not funding comedy stage live, because, you know, these places are already underfunded. You know, we're paid pittance when you're in the circuit, but sometimes it's a pint and a slice of pizza, do you know what I mean? But we do it for the love and all that. So there's not money in those clubs as it is, you know what I mean? And if you're taking out the Stand and stuff like that, and they still don't have huge funding, to say you're going to give the ballet this amount when they have massive outsourced support. I mean, comedians are the ones that support the fundraisers, the charity gigs, but nobody actually sponsors our establishments and our places. We don't have that extra funding support, and that's why I think it's imperative that Scottish comedy and get some of that money, you know what I mean, because they don't have outsourced funding like all these others definitely do, 100%.
Do some quick comments. Alison says, Dee is the funniest comedian ever, and I don't even like comedians, but Dee is something else.
Thank you so much.
Dee, the #1 best ever. We love you, Dee, says Pauline.
Thank you.
We get Margaret Hughes is saying hello with some love hearts. Sapien82. Frankie was interviewed at the Edinburgh TV Festival by Richard Osman, and he stated he won't do rape jokes anymore. He isn't in his 20s anymore, and it's in his past as a comedian, apparently. Well, I mean, I think he's proved. I think what Frankie's proved with his, you know, his Twitter rants and his articles he writes for the Guardian and stuff. He's very intelligent, and he's got good politics and stuff like that. And like I said, I do think there was a lot of stuff when I thought it was shock value, but when I look back on it, maybe when I got a wee bit older, it was like it was a bit more layered than I initially thought it was. Yeah. But like yourself, there is just some stuff you're like, oh, come on, Frankie. But guys,
I totally would never diss what he did, because in that time and in that period, that comedy was new. The way he did it was controversial. There was no one else like him. And that's what you call a clever artist. That doesn't mean that he's like that in his everyday life. That arrogance and that, no, I don't want to fucking smile at you, kind of Jack D, but ranked up a bit. You know what I mean? That takes clever leveling. It's not who he is. And it took me years, because comedians, I would hate them on their stage shows. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that's what I took it from, but that's not who they are. Of course, he's fucking super intelligent. He's one of the cleverest men out there. That's a fact. And what he does in his 20s, that's like me. I used to tell people that I had more chance of choking and dying on a Mars bar than I did have dying of ecstasy. Would I say that in my 30s? Of course I fucking wouldn't. So that's where the difference is, and that's what people need to realise. It was a comedy of time. He's not doing rape jokes now, so he's acknowledged that that's not cool anymore. No one's finding that funny. And it's not about what a comedian thinks is right or wrong. We go on our audience and what they think is funny, and the more braver and confident you are, the more you'll go out there, and that's what he did. His comedy wasn't for me, but it fucking worked for a good vast majority of the population. So of course, I totally agree. I respect his craft and I respect him as an artist. I just don't like his comedy, but that's not because he's not good. It's because it's not my type.
Pixie Brown's in the house. Another for the Shire. Go on yourself, Dee. You're a fucking star. Love you and your banter loads. You tell us it is. So happy to see you on with our Mark, a fellow Shire legend. And Pixie, a Shire legend as well. Shout out to Pixie. And Sharon, I'll be looking you up, Dee. What's your own page called? Yeah, just plug your social medias, and I'll put it up on the screen.
It's quite easy. My Snapchat, which just gives you an insight into you don't really want, if you want to see what shaved calves and stuff like that, because sex still sells, mate. I'm just saying. But anyway, bit controversial in this modern day. All the feminists like, she does what? She does what to get 100 likes? Shut up, Hector. Nobody's asking you to put off own skirts. So leave me alone. But yeah, so Snapchat, which is DEE fit FIT mad MAD, and you'll get my Instagram for following my weight journey is DFit mad, and if it's just my nodding stuff, it's Dee Maxwell. Dee Maxwell for Facebook, Dee Maxwell for YouTube, and that's it. Yeah, so Dee Maxwell just as it is DEE Maxwell, and you get on YouTube and Facebook.
I'm just going to bring that on the screen. Just make sure I've spelled it all right here, but that should be fine. So that's Snapchat, Insta, Facebook, YouTube is here. So it's Snapchat, DFit Mad, Insta, DFit Mad, and Facebook and YouTube. Oh, no, not Maz.
Dee Maxwell.
Always one. Always one.
What school did you go to?
Aye. The wrong one. So Snapchat, DFit Mad, Insta, DFit Mad, Facebook, YouTube is Dee Maxwell. And you'll get loads of stuff there, because like you said, you'll be doing it like 5 nights a week. So
yeah, there's loads of different things, and you can find what you like, because I do chat shows with Kerris Nelms, who's another popular comedian down in England. I do a chat show with her. Last night we were actually talking about obviously the female thing in the comedy industry, and I did say a wee bit of, don't somebody steps in your head, you just rise up. Do you know what I mean? We don't need to sit in a corner.
The Scottish comedy has been having a wee bit of a kind of Me Too moment, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's having a bit of and do you know what? There's always truth to everything, but there's always people that just jump on. He definitely just brushed by my nipple in 1981. You know what I mean? Just so they can be part of it, and I can't be fucked with them. I haven't experienced that. I've experienced a bit of bullying. I've experienced, because I said the misquoted thing with Black. I've experienced people try to stop my journey and say I'm racist, which really made me cry. It was the only thing that hung me, because I've never been racist, even when it was elite. Even it wasn't charges for it. So that's really kind of thing with it. But I think that's about it, really.
And just to wrap it up, can we wrap it on a positive? Since you've got put the life coach hat on, for anyone out there who's maybe just struggling a wee bit with the lockdown, it's doing their nut in. What's a wee bit of advice for them to turn it into a positive?
My advice would be for anybody in lockdown: stop looking at what other people are doing. Facebook is a very big mask of people, and they might do wonderful things during the day. They might be in the hot tub with their husband. There's a good chance their husband's shagging their cousin. So don't worry about it. So for that side of things, if you've not got a hot tub, if you're staying in a flat, take each day. And I do really think Be grateful. Look at what you've got. Look at the nature. Look at the hills. I've looked at Scotland, like Isle of Harris. I'm going to go there, and Barra and somewhere else. I didn't even know it existed in Scotland. We stay in a beautiful country. We could stay somewhere that doesn't have hills. We could stay somewhere that doesn't have the sense of community. Very Scottish thing is we do look after each other, and we don't care where the fuck you came from 2 years ago. We still look after you. You know what I mean? That's the type of people we are. So you're in a good spot. Get up every day, think of one positive thing, do not fall into it, and get outside, get out in fresh air and speak to people. And if you're struggling with anxiety, there's loads of charities. And if you just want to laugh and you just want to be lifted, come out to my page, because see, end of my comedy gigs when I've talked about vagina getting battered always with guys with big, huge cocks that don't really exist in Scotland, but you know, I talk about all that, and I make you feel better, and I'm true to myself. You'll see my bad days, you'll see my good days, and just be humble. We're in a pandemic, we're in this thing, we're in this horrible place with conspiracy theories coming out, but I bet you've never seen your brothers and sisters and your family as much, and your friends that you never had time to have a wee night with when you're having your wee garden party. So be humble and be grateful for what we've got, and wear your mask as Nicola's all right. Other than that, that's fine.
Well, I said there's some, hopefully, looks like there's going to be some garden parties to enjoy in August, so I'm looking forward to a bit of that. We're going to hopefully take the podcast to a few gardens over the next few weeks. If the weather was good though, we had that May. It was great in May when we couldn't leave the house. So hopefully there'll be a wee bit of sunshine left in August. We've got Helen says Star Signs was hilarious today. Dee, you're superb, love you to bits. You're a good person, says Mark. This is brilliant. Thanks for tonight. Thanks, Alan, for tuning in. Great show, says Malcolm. Plus, she is a great dancer on her table. Plus, wee sexy Ronnie Park.
So Snapchat, sometimes we do a lip sync and we do some dancing up in the tables. And I was a dancer as well back in the day, you know, back up in the old Diamond Dolls, you know what I mean? So I had all the dancing experience, and sometimes I just like to show positivity. I like to show women that just because a woman has a beautiful body, which I don't fall into that category yet, but if a woman's showing herself online, don't ultimately think that she thinks she is something. Sometimes she's just looking for a wee bit of validation. So another thing, if I could say, is fucking lift each other up. Don't pull each other. Most successful people in the world didn't get there by standing on people's heads. And if they did, they didn't get there and stay there. People that stay there and stay in the limelight and stay in a good places because they're a good person inside their own house and outside their house. So that's another wee bit of wisdom, Dee, for you.
Alison says Dee has saved me during this lockdown.
Lots of people have actually messaged me, and I've had people tell me that they were. I had 4 people that I had to go and get found with police because they would message me and said they wanted to tell what a difference I'd made in their life, blah blah blah, this big thing. But at the end of it, they were going to end their life. I've had to actually have people located, and so I have done a lot of things in the background that I don't need. I don't need a Daily Record article to say I'm doing. I'm just not that type of person. I don't need validation for every wee good thing that I do for humanity. But my inbox sometimes can be very grim, and sometimes I've got to actually phone my own counsellor and speak, because I speak about sexual abuse and suppression and people coming from bad homes, and it triggers things in people when they message me. And I have had people say that if they didn't have my channel during lockdown, they don't think they would have got through it, and people have actually going to take their own life, and I've had to physically get police to find them, which I don't publicise on my own page, but that's happened in 4 occasions throughout lockdown. So and then I put them onto Chrissy's house and do all that. And so I'm not just a comedian, I do a lot of my life coaching on my page as well. So I think that's why people love me so much, and I stay humble. And people were going to buy me cars and sponsor this and sponsor that, and I would only take sponsorship off companies, not off people. And a fan actually gave me my Samsung's 9 Plus that I'm using just now because I smashed my phone and I couldn't go on lives, and she had it, and she just gave it to me. And so I have beautiful people that are it's not just about me, the Dee Maxwell page. It is a kind of movement. I sound like Trump now. I have my people. We're all together, we love each other, no one understands us, but we're in this circle together. So Dee Maxwell isn't just a person. Dee Maxwell is a unit of fabulous people that avidly follow me, keep me going, and they defend me against the trolls. Sometimes I don't even need to shout at the trolls. I just go on my newsfeed and they've slaughtered them and they've ran away. You know what I mean? That's what's good at my fans. Who the fuck are you talking to? She might not coming back at me, but we will. I'm just like, come on, guys. So it's a beautiful page, it's a beautiful energy. I've built something amazing, and it isn't just comedy, and it isn't just about me. It's a completely new vibration. I did it with chance. But I'll tell you something, as much as the fans say they saved me, if I didn't have them, tell me I was wonderful, tell me I was a great dancer, tell me I'm the funniest person in Scotland or forever, then I wouldn't be in this positive place. So it's been a bit of give or take with both days, and I love my page and I love my fans, and I hate saying fans because they always laugh at me, so I go, my followers, you know what I mean? Because I hate saying the word because I can hear my mum going, away you to fuck fan, get fucked, away and make yourself, because my mum go out into shopping centres and folk will shout, oh, Dee Maxwell, oh my God, and my mum will be like, I'm not putting up this pish today, I can't be fucking and folk will go, oh, you know that proud, she went, oh aye, pish and purple, you know what I mean? So, you know, so it's very much keeps me grounded. But everybody that follows my page is amazing, and I try and get through all the messages, but I can have between 50 and 100 messages a day, and since lockdown that's reaching 150 messages a day to answer, and I do like to answer them myself. So sometimes I'm up to 3 o'clock, and that's when I get annoyed with the old style comedians that have judged me on the circuit, people that have said things when they say she's just fell into it. I can be on my page till 3 o'clock in the morning answering folk. I've got emails, merch to send out. I do like these birthday messages and stuff like that, and I've got all of them to do. So to say I don't work is bullshit. I've not sat down once in this lockdown. Most of my days has been about making sure people's mental health's all right. So that, again, how can comedy not be important? Look what it does for people.
I'd just like to reiterate that as well. It's true what you said about your people say that you call that radio, because we were doing it most nights in lockdown, and they said it's really helped them, and it does go both ways, because I mean, I'm normally busy doing things, so if I wasn't doing this, I don't know how I would be mentally. But you've got to just pick yourself up, and you've got things to do, and it's been great just talking to lots of interesting people as well. And just a couple more comments, then we'll wrap it up. I was thinking about maybe we'll wrap it up with was it Cameron McPhail?
Yes.
So maybe wrap up with one of his tunes. He's got a tune. I think it's his own tune. I'm having a wee look at it just now. Is it Where Do You Go? Where do you go, my lovely? Where do you go to, my lovely? It looks like his own ones.
He's got one that said, oh, because that was the one he sent me when I was really struggling in lockdown, so that'd be great. And it's something about friends. Oh, what's it called?
I'll have a look.
Cameron McPhail with friends. That's it, friends. So I was going through a really, really hard time in lockdown, right? And he just by chance sent me that song because we were all together. He's one of my oldest mates. I can't express this enough. I've actually promoted people that have been friends, but this is my friend. This is my friend through our children. He's such a super talent, but like me, came from a working class and thought it was all a pipe dream. And I really think he could have something if he's marketed and he's lots of love to Cameron McPhail, Leanne McPhail, May, all of them, because they're actually intertwined. You know, the Kilbirnie thing, co-connected and all that, they say. Yeah. So Manty Catherine is actually also his auntie, because my mum's Manty Catherine's cousin, and so is his mum, but they're not related. One of the ones.
One of the ones. Ellen Johnson, thanks for tuning in. What a lovely person you are, Dee. Beautiful heart and soul. Been wonderful to see you grow, Dee. You're a bra soul, and keep on keeping on. Tripsy Whipsy, says Corrine. Tunnel Mental, love this show and its positive message.
Thank you.
Beautiful inside and out, says Angie. Colette, apart from Dolly Parton, she's good inside and outside. Love Baby Doll. Colette's actually met, it's okay to tell the story quickly. Colette was at a sitting down only Dolly Parton gig, and she started running about dancing. Security tried to grab her to stop her from dancing about, and she just danced her way to the stage, and Dolly Parton says, security, will get off that woman. Brought her on stage, and apparently they stay in contact. That's Colette for Perthshire.
Wow, Colette, that is a fucking amazing story.
And she stays on the phone to Dolly Parton. So hopefully we get Dolly Parton on the show. You never know.
Could you imagine? She's fucking brilliant. I love Dolly Parton, man. Fucking, what was that film, 95 she was in? It was hilarious. They tied up the boss and all that. Colette, I'm with you. I actually feel the excitement inside my heart when you say my ultimate thing, which I'm not sure, is to meet Billy Connolly in person, and for Pink to come and sing at one of my big gigs. Pink will just be there singing, and I'll be dancing on the stage with Pink. She's the only woman I would sleep with.
Our drummer, the Gyro Babies drummer, Gordy Duncan Jr., bumped into Billy Connolly about 6 months, a year ago, just on the street. So it does happen. He does stoat about.
But I seen him one day in Glasgow, and he was with his daughter, but he had that face that I have with my earphones on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm thinking, just because I'm a super fan, I can't kid on how that makes me feel. And he'll have a lot more people coming up going, Billy, than I've got Dee. So I just couldn't approach him. I just thought, I can't do that. I can't do it. I'd much rather say, you know, I didn't annoy Billy Connolly because I knew he didn't want to be annoyed. I'd rather be that person.
It's actually a lot cooler. It's pretty cool thing to do.
You're Billy Connolly, but you're shooting shit with your daughter. You know, and I worked in a pub. Sorry, I'm getting off tangent again. But
it's interesting. I just came up on the screen. I remember the clips when you were doing from working in a pub. It was hilarious. So perfect timing.
Did it? Aye, so I worked in a pub. My friend Anne opened up a new bar, and I helped her because I've worked in bars as well. And I was helping her out with the bar. And it actually just happened to be the town next to where Billy Connolly was brought up. So there was the guys in the pub, which is hilarious because I get it now and all because locals will say about me. But this guy, he wasn't as funny as I like the play Dilly. He wasn't as funny as him, but he just, he fucked off me. And it's see here in the perspective of Billy being a human and not just the identity was amazing. So that was a good wee time. And I remember one of my best jokes came from there. There was this guy, and he just liked a good drink. Your classic local controlled working alcoholic, right? And he would be drinking, and he'd get cheeky, and I'd go, see any more of that, I'm going to fuck you off that stool. And he's like, these one more drink, and I'll fall off it myself. So it was a good experience, that as well. But good. Colette, you are now my... I need to know Dolly Parton. I need to be one of those weirdo fame-hungry people. I reckon Dolly would come on the show. Could you imagine?
Yeah. I know. Can you imagine it? Maybe. Anything's possible. We'll manifest it.
Can I play for you? If she comes
if Dolly Parton comes on the show, you're on the show as well. Absolutely. So thank you so much, Dee. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. Good luck with the rest of the lockdown, and hopefully it's not too long till you're playing live. And I'm sure there is things. Also, there's drive-in gigs and garden gigs starting to appear.
I'm starting to do. They're just putting it together. My management's just putting it together about doing obviously a reduced fee, but going to garden parties. You know what I mean, and setting up outside and doing a gig for them. So we're looking at that just now. You know what I mean? So we're hoping to get the restrictions and see exactly what we can do because we can't go into a garden as long as it's distance. But
yeah,
the thing is, with these bookings, I'm going to say, listen, it needs to be a booking with a marquee because I'm not doing the whole getting there and then it's raining and you can't do it and then you have to rebook it and it's costing you a lot more money. So it would have to be somewhere.
Yeah, decent gazebo, cheap enough. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Brilliant show. Dee is amazing. Building a thing. Joe, you're building a thing as well. Everyone who supports the show at patreon.com, it's helping us build this thing. So if you enjoy the show for the price of a couple of £1 a month, the price of a coffee a month, you can do that at patreon.com/YouCallItRadio. Thanks to everyone who has been supporting the show. I can't put into words how much you have saved the day. Great, Petra, great show. Sapien, did you ever meet Matt McGinn? No, I haven't. Would love to.
No.
But not. I reckon. Okay, that's just, we're going to end with the song. So just give Cameron a big intro one more time and then we'll end with Cameron.
Right, so Cameron McPhail is one of my best mates from childhood. He's always sung songs, but this song was actually wrote about the time when we all sat together and now we've all went on our different journeys and he just wanted to say, you know, we're still friends. It's a great song. So it's Friends, When Friends Fade, I think it is. Cameron McPhail.
Friends Don't Fade.
Friends
by
Don't
Cameron
Fade.
McPhail. Thanks, Dee.
Called Friends Don't Fade. It was written by me about friends and family. We're all meeting tonight by the gates of the park, where we'll smoke and we'll drink till the night it falls dark. When the policemen arrive, point their fingers of blame, asking where do you live, son? What is your name? And we all go our own way and face our own fears, though I'll never be sad. May shed a tear, and if you ever need me, I'll always be here. even though the gap widens with the passage of years. Lived a life of suppression, but it made me a man. And if you ever struggle, I'll lend you a hand, 'cause I know how it feels when your progress seems banned. You're the only one living who can meet your demands. And we all go our own way and face our own fears, but we'll never be sad, I might shed a tear. And if you ever need me, I'll always be here, even though the gap widens with the passage of years. Even though the gap widens with the passage of the years.
Brothers and sisters, may the peace that can only come from the one God be upon you. We are here to tell the people that we hear you. One God will not allow us as people of conscience to lose our morale.
Powered by our patrons.